Hey friends, welcome back to another video. Before we start, I need you to listen to something. Untuck your ear. I will turn the volume up. What you are actually hearing is the sound of uninterrupted silence for the next 6 hours. On a weekday, it feels unreal, honestly. I have not had the house to myself on a weekday all day long for 2 years now, or almost 2 years, and it, I'm not gonna lie, feels pretty good. Archie is in daycare pretty much full time now, and Vince is at work. And I am here with you guys, and I would not want to spend my first day of, I'm not gonna say freedom, that sounds really bad, of independence again. I would not want to spend it any other way than with you guys, and I really truly mean that. So this plant room, I don't know how I'm gonna get everything I need done today when my plant room looks like this. Let me just show you really quick, and I will be able to explain the mess, the very strange things that you're going to be seeing around this plant room later on in this video. So we have a lot of ground to cover today, kind of. I wanted to do another 3-hour long video. I've been getting comments here and there saying that they miss the really long videos because that's what they would put on when they do their, weekend plant chores. And I hear ya, but I don't think I have it in me just yet to film another week of. I probably will be in the next few weeks once I really settle into this routine of like Archie being in daycare full time. But up to this point, he's only gone 3 days a week. But I was like, you know what? I could do like a really long repot and chat or really long plant chores video. So I'm aiming for 3 hours. That's my goal for today, which means I need to be filming for at least 4 because I cut out a lot of things. I say a lot. I say like a lot. I have weird speech impediment things that I cut out because I just find that if I left it all in, it would not be an enjoyable experience. So yeah, I cut out at least, I want to say every time I film, I cut out at least half an hour of it with just the little filler words and things like that. Anyway, a lot of ground to cover today. I've taken questions on Instagram, both personal and plant, so I'm going to alternate between those. And then honestly, I don't really have a structure for today. I really just wanted to spend time in the plant room, kind of open up all my prop boxes. For the last few months, it's just been like watering, fertilizing when I can remember, and then that's about it. I have not really taken the time to just like sit down with them, see who needs to be repotted, and so that's just what we're gonna do today, I think. We're gonna start with this guy, which is, this is a red crystal. This was the NSE red crystal. I was gonna sell it. Ella said don't sell it, so I have it here. It really does nothing for me. I don't think it's the nicest red crystal, but apparently it's sought after by certain collectors who want that line of red crystal from Enid. So I guess I'm gonna repot it. I don't know, because it's just in this little pot or this little cup. I'll prepare some soil while I get a little bit warmed up. Oh, I have a little bit of a mix here, but for some reason I added cocoa husk, which I don't really use anymore, but I don't want to waste it, so we're gonna do it anyway. Okay, I'm gonna just start with the first question because this one I think I can talk about while I'm doing this. It was, how are you? Guys, I don't really know. Honestly, I don't really know how I'm doing because it's just been so up and down. It's been such a whirlwind. This is gonna be weird, but I'm gonna put a mask on. The dust is gonna get everywhere. It's gonna get in my nose, and I'm just not feeling that today. Yeah, so it's been so up and down. The last time that I would have chatted with you, I kind of told you that I was very close to checking myself into a mental hospital. Even just saying it sounds really, I don't know, it sounds worse than it is. I know that, people check themselves in for a lot of different reasons. And I'm not trying to say it in like a negative way as if that's like the worst thing that could ever happen to someone. But yeah, I just went through it a bit. And a lot of it was because Archie, he just the extreme clinginess, right? It's already in my eyes. Oh my God, it's so dusty. Ow, 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 ow. I hate mixing new substrates. I wish that I had an outdoor space where I can do all of this and then it can all just go in the wind. Yeah, just extreme cleanliness, which I was having a hard time coping with, and I will link the video where I talked about it because I'm not going to talk about it again, but kind of went through a really, really rough patch with that, and just a lot of life changes happening and being like stressed about life and being stressed about what I was doing with my life. I would say, just to answer the question, I'm okay right now. That's what it feels like right now, but I just know myself that like it's always gonna be an up and down thing, and I've never really had a long stretch of just like being good mentally. And it's been like that since I was a teenager, so I guess I'm kind of used to it, but the older I get, the more I just like crave stability, you know, and just a nice healthy baseline. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. People with outdoor spaces never ever take that for granted, because doing this hobby all indoors is just not very glamorous at times. I'm trying my best, but I will say I've been doing a lot of work to try and just be better, because I don't like the version of me that is just so mentally unstable. And it's not like I tried to seek out being mentally unstable, but it's just kind of my life. I've done so much therapy, guys. I've done so much of it, and I just feel like the smallest thing can just undo everything you've done. But the point of therapy is being able to learn the skills to kind of get back to baseline on your own. So, you know, therapy does work. It does work. I am very pro therapy. I just think I need to do more of it. I think I got way too comfortable, and I stopped seeing my therapist. I stopped seeing my psychiatrist. Like, I just said, yeah, I'm good. Everybody just leave me alone. All is good on the Western Front. All is not good on the Western Front. But, yeah, figuring it out, I guess. Wowza. Okay, roots look actually really nice. Not too bad. Let me show you what we're working with here. I don't love this plant, honestly. I said I'm gonna give it until it becomes like medium sized, and then I'll see if I keep it or end up selling it. But as of right now, I am keeping it at the order of Alice. So that is the only reason this plant is still in my house. That would be so nice if I had like a little repotting setup where there was like this, like my little potting stuff, or my potting table, potting soil things, substrates, and then a sink. Oh, it'd be so nice to have a sink right next to me to just like quickly wash my hands, wash plants down. A dream. One can only dream. This entire room is filled with dust. I feel it in my throat. That's what she said. Okay, so that's the first question, I guess. How are you? I think I'm okay. I think so. Right now, I'm okay. How is your pest issue? So I'm going to be alternating personal and plant question. The pest issue is a non-issue, guys. I have not seen a single pest for... When did I start using that stuff that Alice gave me? Honestly, it probably has been a year now that I have not seen a spider mite. I have not seen a thrip. I have not seen anything. The only thing that I think I have, which is like confirmed, are flat mites. And I tried alcohol. I tried every spray I have in the house, and nothing seems to be working. But I don't know, for some reason the flat mite issue doesn't bother me as much, just because I know that they're like always going to be around, unfortunately. I think the best thing I could do at this point is do the predatory mite situation, or predatory mite thing. But at the same time, I don't love the idea of using predatory mites indoors to handle other mites. Like, I just don't, I know they're good bugs and they're super cute and I love them. They're so adorable, but For some reason, the thought of using another bug in the house to get rid of another bug, I don't like it. Like, I just don't want any bugs in the house, preferably. That would be nice. I don't know if it's because the spray works really well, which I'll show you which spray I'm using right now. I don't know if it's also because I just don't have as many plants, and the rate at which they can spread or come into the house is just so much lower. But either way, I will take it. I am happy. I can do without the pests. It's just so weird to like not be on guard as much, which probably isn't a good thing, because I think if you are a plant parent, you should always have some level of like caution or some level of like skepticism that your plants are actually pest free, just to avoid like a full blown, outbreak of something. Because I've always found that in the times where I've gotten like comfortable, complacent, whatever, that's when something happened, because I just was not even thinking about pests. I'm just, I'm like, la, I haven't seen it forever, so like, I don't need to think about it. And so there's like this skeptical part of me that thinks the second, that I get lax, they're all gonna come back in the house. But seriously, I've been lax for like a year. I haven't even, normally, like when I look at my plants, I'm like, is that like damage from thrips? Like what is that, But I have not even had that thought in months. Like, I just don't think about pests anymore. All that to say, though, I am overdue for a preventative treatment. I think one of my biggest weaknesses as a plant parent is not being preventative about things, or not being proactive about things, and just kind of working on the defense, waiting for it to get bad, and then I take action. It's so much harder to function that way. But I also think that with or without a kid, because I was like this pre-Archie, I feel like it's hard to get into a good rhythm of like, I'm gonna sit down and do pest stuff today, because I don't know, it's not that fun. If you think about all of the things that we can do in this hobby, like repotting and propagating and all of that stuff, it's like, why would I want a pest treat? Like, that's not fun. I keep cleaning, I keep organizing too much, to the point where I don't have anything anymore. I have this little pokey stick that I've used historically to like push down my substrate on the sides, and I don't know why I would get rid of that when I know that I use it all the time. But I can't find it, so now I'm gonna have to use something else. Guess I'll use this. Or maybe I'll use this side. So yeah, definitely my weakness as a plant parent, and it's something that I've acknowledged, and I'm like aware of it, and I'm like, I'm gonna be better at it, and then I'm not better at it. So that's just what it is. I guess I can fertilize and inoculate today too. So yeah, pest issue is going well, I guess. If you're looking for a good systemic to use, I would highly recommend that one. If you're looking for something to kind of keep away all of the big scary ones, spider mites and thrips particularly are the ones that plague me all the time. I mean, I'm glad that I never really had like a huge mealybug, or what is the other nasty one? Mealybugs and scale. Oh, yuck. I did have them like a little bit when I had Hoyas and stuff. I feel like that's when I had it the most, and when I was importing a lot of the imports would come with like scale. But now that I'm not really doing that, it's a non-issue. And if you missed it, I have switched to foliage focus. I've heard great things about this, but I don't know. I'm skeptical. I just feel like all fertilizer is kind of the same, and it's just a matter of marketing and who's pushing what and how a brand, markets themselves to the public. Otherwise, I feel like it's all the same. But that's just me. Okay, the next question was, how did you evince meat? It's so funny. Every time I open up my questions, it's almost guaranteed that at least one person is going to ask this. And I'm pretty sure I've answered it before, which is why I never answer it again. but maybe it was a long time ago, and maybe I never really told the full story, but either way, I will tell it again. It's probably not a good idea to repot it so soon after this new leaf just hardened, but this was the Dark Phoenix King of Spades that she did with Jing. So she was gonna list this in the last sale, and I was helping her prep plants, and I just could not get over how cute it was. And I don't really have an atypical looking King of Spades in my collection anymore. I actually gave her mine, and I'm not the best at growing it, so I was like, I feel like a hybrid would be easier. And because I don't really see any Dark Phoenix in here, this to me just looks like a King of Spades, I was like, you know what, this might be a better option for me. And at the time I told her I didn't know where mine was because she gave me a seedling, and I was like, oh, it's dead. I'm pretty sure it's dead. And she's like, are you sure it's dead? I was like, I'm pretty sure it's dead. And I do have a pretty vivid memory of throwing it away. And then I look in a prop box and I see something sprout, and I'm like, oh, what's this? And sure enough, it's my Dark Phoenix King of Spades. She doesn't know yet that I found it. I'll tell her one day, but not today. So anyway, all that said, it is due for a repot because it is in a pretty small pot and so much of the stem is sticking out, and I do want to get that underneath some substrate. So let's do that one. Okay, so the story of me and Vince. Gosh, I was living in San Francisco at the time, and there are parts of the story that you're not gonna like. Okay, I'm not proud of myself. It's just I was young. I was 20. I was freshly 21. Okay, my what is that thing in the front? Your cerebral cortex. Is that what I'm thinking about? It hadn't fully developed. All right, she was a ding dong. I still am, but you know, I was really bad back then. Should I go this much bigger? I feel like I can go even a little bit bigger because that's really not doing that much for this plant. I just worry about going a little bit too big because whenever I do that, I feel like I don't have the best luck with the transition. But yeah, I think we're gonna do this one. Okay, so I was living in San Francisco at the time. I was obviously 20. I think I lived in San Francisco from when I was 19 until I was 22, or maybe 20 to 22. I don't think I was there for 3 years. Anyway, I was at least there for, I think, 2 years. I obviously wanted to do the Vegas thing for my 21st birthday, but truth be told, at this time, I didn't have a ton of girlfriends that would have been able to go with me. I was a little bit removed from my core girlfriend group in Sacramento because we were all kind of living in different places, and I wasn't talking to them super regularly. So I didn't feel like going on a Vegas trip with them would have been, I don't know, I think if I asked them, they probably would have been like, oh, yeah, I guess, sure, you know. But I do, fortunately, have 500,000 girl cousins that I grew up with that I'm very, very close with. So in my head, I was like, how sick would that be to go with all my cousins and my aunts, because they're like all my girlfriends. And guys, I brought every single aunt that I had. I think I brought like 12 aunts. I'm not kidding. My mom, on my mom's side, my dad's side, like the way my family is, and I think a lot of Filipino families are like this. It wasn't until I was a lot older that I realized how I was actually related to certain people. There were people who I grew up thinking they were my first cousins, only to realize I wasn't related to them at all. For example, one of my favorite aunts, right? She's like, near and dear to me. I love her. She's like a second mom to me. The way I'm related to her is, I have to think about this. She is my mom's, hold on, I'm gonna get there. She is my mom's brother's wife's, wait, no, she's my mom's brother's wife's brother's wife. I'm not joking, guys. Like, it's so far, and it's like, why are we even mingling with each other? Anyway, that's just how my family is. So yeah, I brought all the aunts, I brought all my cousins. It was so much fun. And one of my aunts has a friend who works in like the Vegas clubbing industry, and so she was like, let me take care of this. I will plan the whole thing. I will get us booths. I will get I had no idea what I was doing. I was 20 years old. I'd never been to Vegas like that before. So I let her kind of take the reins. And so we were just like following her lead the whole time. The Vegas trip was really fun. The crowd when we went, very, very strange. And of course, like, I think I think only 2 of my cousins at the time were single. I was in a relationship, and I think 1 or 2 of my other cousins were in a relationship too. But we're young, we're on the prowl, we're in Vegas. There's lots of guys our age there. But, over the few days, it was like, it wasn't really looking promising. It was just like, yeah, maybe we can get some free drinks out of them, but nothing crazy. Until the second to last night, or maybe it was the last night. It was the last night. We ended up at Exes nightclub, and we had a booth there. But the thing with this booth was that we had the booth, but we did not have a bottle. Like, my aunt for this particular club wasn't able to get us a bottle like she was at like the other few clubs that we went to that we had booths at. So my cousins are like, oh, fine, whatever, let's go find some drinks. Like, we're not going to pay for drinks, but we can find some. So we're scoping out the place, and it's looking a little bleak. We're on the dance floor, and then in the corner of my eye, I see a guy, and I'm like, oh, he's kind of cute. And I see that he's at a booth with like a bunch of his friends. So I like tell my cousin, like, like, I think I spot a target, So we're like, how can we do this? It was so freaking funny. One of my cousins that I went with is just like notoriously hilarious. Like, she just does not have the bone in your body where you like feel embarrassed. So she will do anything. Nothing will hold her back, that girl. And I love her for that. She's my favorite person on this planet. For example, when we went to Portland, she wasn't even that drunk, but like, it was an almost empty dance floor in this random like dive bar. A song comes on that she just runs up to the middle of the dance floor and just does the full like running jump splits. And the crowd went wild. I'm not even joking. It was like straight out of a movie. Anyway, so we're like, hey, go get their attention, because I wasn't gonna do it. She's like, you know what, I got this. So she's like doing the whole thing, like the Chandler dance moves, and I'm like, oh, I don't think this is gonna work. But she's getting her groove on. She's trying, and so I was like, I think she needs some backup. Like, let's all just go that way and just dance and just be cute girls and giggle and do the whole thing. So I do notice that in this time that we are trying to lure in the bait, there's a little eye contact from one of the guys, and I'm like, I think I got this guy on a hook. I've got him. Just give me a second. But then 10 minutes go by, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. I'm like, no, he's taking too long. I don't think we've got it. So I told them, like, because we had another booth at another club, but it was at a club that we didn't really want to go to, but we did have alcohol at that club. So we're like, let's just go. Let's just call it a night here at Excess and we'll go. So I start gathering the girls, and we are like linked. We are interlinked. And then I'm at the very end, cousins guiding us off the dance floor, and then all of a sudden someone grabs my arm and like pulls me back, and I look, and it's the guy, and I'm like, finally, geez, took you long enough. So he's like, hey, like, are you guys leaving? And I was like, oh yeah, this place kind of blows. Like, we're trying to get drinks. Until he's like, oh, we have a bottle, like, or we have a couple bottles at our booth. Like, do you guys want to come over and like hang out with us? I wasn't gonna be like, oh my gosh, yeah, of course. I have to like, gotta play it cool. So I was like, we really don't want to stay, but let me just like talk to the girls really quick. So I like walk over to them, and we're like, yeah, we could stay for one drink. Like, it'll be fine. Let's just stay for one drink. Keep in mind, this guy that grabs my arm and the guy I was eyeing all night was not Vince, was not my husband. So we go back to their booth. There's like a bunch of guys. I think there was probably like 15 of them. All very, very nice. I was kind of worried that like when we got to the booth, it was going to be like, you know, vultures and they were going to be like circling us and it was going to feel really awkward. But no, like they just all were super chill. They're like, hey, what's up? You know, they were all talking and it wasn't a whole thing. So, sorry, hold on. My nose is so runny because it's so dusty in here. So I'm sitting at the booth with this guy. I'm not going to name his name just because I'm still friends with him. Literally, he's like in the same friend group as Vince. So obviously Vince is there. I didn't notice him. I honestly can't even tell you like a moment that I would have clocked his face. Like I guess at the time he just wasn't really my type, or at least this guy, it's so weird to talk about it now because this guy is like my actual friend and I'm like friends with his wife. I want to be respectful. So yeah, this guy that I was talking to was just more of my type at the time. And I was just so fixated on him that like all the other guys they were faceless to me basically. Keep in mind though, I had a boyfriend, like just, again, I'm not proud of this, but I had a boyfriend. So we're talking and one cousin, like basically we all kind of found a guy. We all kind of found a guy to like be stuck with for the next few hours. And it was a great time, honestly. Like we drank, we talked, we got to know each other, found out they were Canadian, and you know, they were like, oh, California girls. There was like this like intrigue about like California girls meets a bunch of Canadian guys. Anyway, we stay at the club till they close, basically. Oh, keep in mind, we brought the guys over to meet our whole booth of aunts. They were like, oh, you brought your entire family. That's really cool. They probably thought it was super weird at the time, but that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted for my birthday. So my aunts leave. They're like, be good. They go off, do their thing, get completely wasted. They partied harder than we did the entire time, by the way. Me and my cousins were way milder than they were. They were like on the pole in the limo that we had. They were going crazy. Anyway, my aunts leave. We're still there. It's like, I think the club closed at like 3 or something. So I was very, very tired. I was so tired, but they're like, do you guys want to come back to our hotel? So I already knew. I was like, nothing's going to happen because I have a boyfriend. It wasn't a great relationship at the time. I was like already kind of over it, but you know, I was still in a relationship. So I personally wanted to go, but I felt guilty. And I was telling my cousins, I was like, I should really go back to my hotel. But then one of my cousins was like, I really want to go back to their hotel and I don't want to go alone. So I was like, fine, I'll go with you. So it was me and my one cousin and Vince. So my cousin, plot twist, I don't think I ever told this part. My cousin was the one that like wanted to be with Vince, basically. And they were like all coupled up the entire night. Still could not even, like if you told me the next day, like, oh, did you guys think that like her guy was hot? I'd been like, I don't even remember what he looked like. Very strange that I ended up marrying him. So anywho, go back to the hotel, like we're hanging out with the guys, just having a good time. My cousin and Vince end up going off, doing their own thing. And so I'm just at the hotel with the guy I was with. I need to give him a name. I'll call him James. Call him James. So I'm at the hotel with James and literally nothing is going on. We are sitting on the couch. We're just talking, watching TV. He's like flipping through channels and it passed ESPN and it was like showing the highlights of the Sharks game. And I was like, oh, go back. Like, I want to see that. And he's like, oh, you don't have to pretend you like hockey just because I'm Canadian, you know? And I'm like, I literally grew up in San Jose. Like, I grew up with hockey. Like, I follow hockey. I love the Sharks. He started asking me all these questions. He's like, oh yeah, so who's the coach? Like, who's your starting lineup? And I was able to like answer everything. And he was just blown away that this random girl from California was like super into hockey. And of course, to a Canadian guy, that's just like big green flag. Anyway, yeah, we had a good time. Nothing happened. I think we did kiss a little bit, but nothing like that. It's around 8 a.m. The sun is already up or it's coming up. And so I tell my cousin, I'm like, we gotta go. It's way late. I don't wanna, I wanna go to sleep. So we say our goodbyes. They get us a cab. I think it was me who exchanged numbers with my guy because I don't think my cousin did with Vince. That's kind of fuzzy, but either way, we did get their like info somehow. And then it was the next day, James texted me, and we had to download this like app to text each other because, you know, it was a US number with Canada. So yeah, he messages me through the app. It's like, hey, like, what are you guys doing today? But we had like a whole day planned, so we didn't really have any plans to see them. But we're walking the strip, super hungover, looking so haggard, and we see the group of them on the strip, and we're like trying to hide, like, don't see us this way, it's so bad. Yeah, I'm like, oh, you know, we're just at our hotel resting, like getting ready to go home, because I think we had a flight that day. And so, yeah, that's like how we met, all the guys, and I ended up staying friends through social media with like 3 of them or 4 of them. And yeah, just like a really honestly great group of guys. Like, they just were so nice, and I'm like, wow, the stereotype about Canada is like real. They were like gentlemen, they're just so nice. I ended up dating James for like a year. Not a good situation. He was seeing other people on the side. I had a boyfriend at the time that he didn't know about. I obviously broke up with my boyfriend as soon as I got home. I didn't tell him what happened in Vegas, but I did end up telling him many, many years later. I think I was already with Vince when this happened. I was with friends that I hadn't seen in a long time that I knew in San Francisco, who were mutual friends with my ex-boyfriend at the time. And my ex-boyfriend was already with his now wife. I honestly think I was with Vince already. But it just so happened that, you know, he got brought up, and I was like, man, you know, I did him so wrong. Like, he deserved so much better than me. And they were like, well, let's call him. You should apologize. And I was like, what? I ended up apologizing to him. We got on the phone. I was like, hey, it's me. I haven't talked to you in a couple years. And he was like shook, like, what? Like, why are you calling me? And I just spilled the beans on everything. And he's like, you don't think I know that something happened in Vegas? I'm not stupid. Like, you know, we were together. You go to Vegas. We don't talk for like 3 days that you're gone. You come home and you break up with me. And so, yeah, I did feel bad, but we talked, and he was like, obviously, like, I forgive you. Like, that's just in the past. And if you hadn't like left me, I wouldn't have been with my now wife, and it all worked out, okay? But anywho, I ended up dating James for a year. That was just, I think we liked the allure of having this person that was like long distance, that we just sometimes texted, or we like video chatted at night, and like it was just exciting. But I think the both of us, deep down, we didn't want a long distance relationship, and we both kind of had people on the side that we kind of wanted to see things through with. Because I had a little bit of a roster at that time, and I did really like him. I did. I thought that he was really interesting, and we had a lot in common in terms of working like in the creative field. And he's extremely successful now in what he does, and I'm super proud of him. But I think that's all that we had that was connecting us, was our creative passions and that drive to like be self-employed, do something for ourselves. But other than that, we didn't have a lot going for us. He did visit me once in San Francisco, and that was a whole thing. I guess it went okay, but not really. I'm not going to get into that, guys. It's too messy. But yeah, there was no real connection there outside of Vegas. Honestly, I think we really just got caught up in the whirlwind of how we met, and it was exciting. But then once things kind of got comfortable, we were like, I don't know if we really want this. But all that to say, in the year that I was dating him, I was in contact with Vince. I was in contact with like 2 of the other guys that I met there, and we were social media friends. We texted all the time, and we were just really close. And it was super cool to just have this little group of friends in Canada. That's what it was. And so even when me and James stopped dating, I was still good friends with these other guys, Vince included. Me and Vince always had a really special friendship. There was a time in my mind where I was like, man, I ended up with the wrong guy, or I dated the wrong guy. Like I should have dated Vince. But then it was like weird because like he had been like all cozy with my cousin in Vegas. They never dated or talked after that, but it was just like, is that weird? I don't know. But you know, we remained friends. We sent each other music all the time. We talked all the time, and he was just this like really, really special person to me. And we would talk to each other about like our relationship issues, and I'd cry to him about things. And it was really strange because we both knew we liked each other at some point, but we couldn't do anything about it because, hello, I dated his friend for a year and he was with my cousin. Like it was just like too weird. So we just never really saw that through, or we never pursued anything. We just kind of both acknowledged that it was what it was, and that's where we would leave it forever. And that was fine. But we decided in the meantime that like we probably should not talk as much as we do, just because I don't think that would help with the feelings that we were feeling. And that's what we did. And it was really sad. Honestly, I was sadder about that than when I stopped dating James, because I felt like I was like losing a friend. And yeah, that was hard, but obviously went through it. I felt like it was for the best. So a couple of years go by, maybe like 2 years go by, I'm dating other people, or I'm with another guy. You know, we had popped in to say happy birthday and send each other music sometimes, but it was not like it was before. There was a really bad time in my life where I was living back in my hometown in San Jose, and I was just like going through it. I was not happy. I was really depressed. I had gotten out of like a bad situationship thing. I don't know. I was at work, and then Vince messages me out of the blue, and he's like, hey, I'm gonna be in LA in, I think he said 3 weeks or 2 weeks. Like, I'm gonna be there with the guys. Like, we would love to see you again. You know, Lynn, who was their mutual friend, who I forgot how we connected, but Lynn was like one of their best friends who lived in LA, and I was really close to her too. It's kind of crazy how like intertwined we became from afar over the years. And I hadn't seen Lynn in forever, and so I was like, oh, that might be fun. And at the time I wasn't really thinking about it, but I was like, is it a good idea for me to see Vince? I don't know, because right now I'm just like vulnerable and I'm just not in a good place. But I talked to Lynn, and she was like, obviously you have to come. Like, I would love to see you. She was like, trust me, it's gonna be great. You're not gonna regret it. It's gonna be so much fun. But deep down, I was like really scared to see Vince, because he truly always felt like the one that got away. By the way, the next one I'm doing is the Heterophila Dragon's Breath. I'm gonna do this one in pawn. I said, you know what? I've had such a crap year. I need something good. So I told Vince, I really wasn't sure if I was going to go yet. I didn't want to commit because I was just scared of validating my feelings, and I wasn't sure if that's what I was ready for yet. So I was like, oh, I don't know, we'll see. I'll let you know if I end up going. So I talked to Lynn, and I'm so flip-floppy back and forth whether I actually want to go, and she's like trying to convince me, but at the same time she's like, I understand why you have reservations, and she was being very respectful of that. But she said, you know, me and Tiffany, her cousin, who I was also friends with, was like, we are going to take care of you no matter what happens. Even if nothing comes of this for you, like, we'll have a great girls trip together. And that week, I was like so sure that I wasn't going to go. But then a couple days before they were going to arrive, I just hit a wall. I hit a very, very low place, and I was like, screw it, I'm going. I'm gonna go because why not? You only live once, right? So I tell Lynn, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna come to LA. I will be there in a few days. Don't tell the guys that I'm coming. Like, I want it to be a surprise. You know, I go down to LA. We are scheduled to meet them at this club bar place in, I think it was Santa Monica or something. And it was like seriously out of a movie. I was so nervous. Did I want to do that? Yeah, I think I'm gonna stick. I was gonna do pawn, but maybe I just stick with Leca. Yeah, I think I'll just do all Leca, just a bigger vessel. It doesn't have the best root system. It just has this dinky little thing, so I think it'll be good to kind of get more roots in Leca, hopefully. Yeah, so I was super nervous. I was so nauseous, guys. Like, I just felt sick to my stomach. I just had like so much nerves and butterflies, and I just could not wrap my head around what I was feeling. Honestly, I'm in the bathroom puking. Disgusting. In a public bathroom, I am puking. And I'm like, this is not how I envisioned this going. End up getting myself together. I come out of the bathroom, and it was like, I'm telling you, like a movie. I almost feel like the lights went dim everywhere, and there was just this spotlight on Vince kind of coming through a crowd, and they just split. And all of my friends, his friends, they like look back. I mean, I'm coming out of the bathroom freshly thrown up, and Vince is there, and he just had this like look on his face like he just like saw a ghost, and then just like wrapped his arms around me, and I just like, I couldn't hear anything anymore. Everything was like in slow motion. I was like not able to process what was happening, but it was just like an instant feeling of just like relief and feeling safe and like at home. And we hugged for probably, I'm not even joking, like 5 minutes. And he came with his best friend who I'd never talked to before, never met. He knew nothing of me. And he's looking at this exchange just so confused, like, who is this random chick in LA that you're like embracing? But yeah, it was just an amazing night. Like, I feel like your wedding day is supposed to be like the best day of your life. I feel like this could have been like the best day of my life. It's one of those nights that you just do not ever forget. You remember every feeling, every thought you had, every single little thing that happened that night. I can remember all the tiny little details. I can remember every conversation. Like, it's just so strange how like it's like burned into my mind. But we end up spending all night together. You know, we're drinking, we're having an amazing time, and we both started to get a little tipsy, and so we were both smokers at the time, so we were like, let's go get cigarettes. So we like run over to the 7-Eleven across the street. We come out. As soon as we come out, it was like I'm not even joking, it was like a single cloud of rain just starts raining on us, because it's not super rainy everywhere else. It's just like in the area that we are. So then we like take cover under the 7-Eleven thing. We like light our cigarette. We have a cigarette. It's like raining. It's magical. And basically the rest is history, guys. We ended up spending, I think we were there for 3 days. Spent the whole 3 days together with all of our friends. There were a lot of things that happened that weekend that just like reaffirmed that this was like my person. Like, this is who I was supposed to be with. And it was very, very complicated though, because I dated his friend. Like, how weird is that? And then he was like all like, you know, lovey-dovey with my cousin. We were just like, how do we do this? What's going on? So at the time I was living in San Jose, I told my mom, I was like, I'm gonna move back home. I feel so lost right now. I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I'm drinking all the time. I don't like who I'm becoming. I'm so financially unstable right now. And oh, by the way, I think I met the love of my life again. So she's like, what do you mean? Like, what's happening? I moved back home, and I just needed like a hard reset. I feel like I needed to be back with my mom. I needed to find my footing again. And I wanted to make sure that I wasn't just like jumping into something with Vince because I was in a bad place. I I really had to like sit down with myself and just figure out like what I wanted and like who I was. And so, you know, yeah, that's what I did. I moved home. I went back to school. I ended up working at a racket club. I was doing like front desk, folding towels, answering phones. I just needed a reset. I needed to like start fresh. I didn't want to be in the fashion industry because I had been like so burnt out doing fashion stuff in San Francisco. I didn't want to be in that world anymore. I was just tired, guys. I was tired of my life, and Vince did feel like a breath of fresh air, and he honestly felt like the only thing at that time that made sense, even if it did feel really sudden. I never once thought like I can't be with him, because I already knew at that point that I like was in love with this guy. Like I've always loved him. Like I just, you know, I felt a connection with him that I had never felt with anyone else, and he was just like my person. But I wanted to make sure that I like found my footing first before jumping into something like full on with him. So that's what we did. We took it super slow. He knew that like I was just in a weird place in my life, and he like gave me that time to kind of restart and just be with my family and yeah, just like get my life together. And so I really loved that about him. And then of course, once we did start dating seriously, like my family fell in love with him, and it just made sense. You know, I fell in love with his family. I loved his friends. I loved his world. And yeah, that's what happened. That's how it happened, I guess. And then we dated for 3 years before he proposed. And then we got married, I think, a year after that. So, yeah. I wouldn't say that it happened really quickly, but in a lot of ways it kind of felt like it happened quickly. It was like we met in Vegas, then we're friends for a couple years, and then, oh, we're together now, and then now we're married. So anyway, yeah, that's the story. That is the story of me and Vince. I'm wondering if I want to keep repotting or... Oh, you know what? I don't think I've shown you this. Have I? While I have this down here, my Diabloense pushed out this monstrous beefy leaf. Look at her. Like, holy smokerinos, that is a leaf. It's so abby and so buff. It looks so sinister. And then it pushed out an inflow. It is in pollen now. I didn't think this plant would self. Alice had a hard time with it, but I do have a second inflow coming in now. So hopefully if it gets sticky, I'll try and use this pollen if it lasts long enough. But I have heard that this plant is very, very hard to get to seed. So this next plant, I think I've shown you. I don't remember. I am the proud owner again of Philodendron SP Silver, SP Columbia, El Guapo. I had it before and then I got rid of it, and then I had it again and then I got rid of it. It's been one of those things that I've done this like song and dance with, and I love it, but I always had spider mite issues with it, and I just couldn't do it anymore. I feel like at that time I had way too many leafy philodendron that were just so prone to pests, and I said, you know what, I'm just gonna get rid of all of them and then that will solve my problem. But now that I am not as philodendron heavy in this house, I feel like it's gonna be fine. Is it super bright to you, or is that just me? Okay, so I have been rooting this puppy in water, and I want to transfer it now before it gets a little bit too root bound. There are 2 plants in here. I think I'm just gonna pot them together so that it looks fuller instead of just doing one and then, I don't know. I was like, maybe I'll sell it. I don't know. I am doing another plant show with Alice and Jing in, I think it's like 2 weeks. I'm doing a show. So I have to like start prepping plants for that, which I might do today. I have a few that I think are ready to go now, but I feel like the soil is looking a little gross and I don't really want to sell it like that, so I might switch them. I don't know. We'll see. So, what was I talking about? Yeah, me and Vince. That's the story of me and Vince, and the rest is history. So you can find love in the club, as Usher said. That I believe is true. It's just a matter of finding the right one, picking the right one. Don't get me wrong. I don't regret dating James. He's a great, great guy, a beautiful person, but was not my person. But I'm glad that we can still be friends. Like, we still see each other at gatherings. Like, we invite each other to our kids' birthdays and stuff like that. You would think it's a strange situation. I guess it was a little awkward at first, even though, you know, Vince had like a talk with him, like a serious talk when he started dating, and was like, hey, look, this happened. And he said he didn't care, which I do believe, because it's not like me and him were super serious. I guess it's just a little bit more weird, if anything. But it was awkward for a little bit, like when I first started coming around. And then we got over it. It was like, that happened when we were 21. Well, I was 21. He was, I think, 22 at the time. Like, we were babies. There's no reason to drag on something that doesn't need to be dragged, you know what I mean? Like, there's no feelings there. We weren't, like, in love. It was very much just like a little fling. Yeah. I am going to wipe this plant down just with some water before I get it repotted. Just can't take too long because I don't want these water roots to dry out. But there's just, like, some sticky EFN and, like, a lot of dust on here that I just want to get cleaned off. Okay, next question. Guys, that was like, what, an hour of me talking about it? That's what it felt like. Plant question. Wowza. That felt really long. Sorry if that was boring to you guys. A plant you'd love to have if you had the space for it. So, there's not any, like, aeroids that I can think of that I'd like to bring home, or even, like, just, like, the weirdo plants. Oh my gosh, come on. Sorry, guys. No aeroids. I really don't have any aeroids on my wish list at the moment. But I would, if I had the space, I would bring home so many more trees. My house, if I had like an actual house with like square footage, there would be a tree in every freaking corner, every room. Give me all the arborist things. So one thing that I would love is a humongous fiddly fig. Not one that just goes straight up. I want one that's got branches that's like climbing a wall or like scaling a wall. I like the ones that look really crazy. I'm gonna try and find some pictures. I like ones that have shape, that have clearly been cut a few times because like all the new growth is going every which way. I just have this, I've always had a weakness for the fiddly fig. I don't know, why is it so loud? I don't know what it is, but I love that plant so much, and it's one of the first plants I ever owned. I think the first fiddly fig I owned was in 2013. 2013? No. 2011, maybe? Yeah. 2011. And then, of course, I had, like, the Monstera and whatever. But I don't know, just I've always just had this fondness for the fiddly fig. So that's one that I would love. I would also love the same kind of like rubber tree, one that's very mature, that's like, again, super tall, going every direction. I just love a good rubber tree, and it's my favorite plant to clean. When I had a rubber tree, I was cleaning those leaves like minimum once a week. I don't know why, it was just so fun. It was so fun to like just see the dust come off the leaf because it was so glossy, and then if you took like a microfiber cloth and just like you can get it nice and shiny. I know some people are going to be like, oh, that strips the waxes. I don't care, guys. It's my plant. Just let me live. Yeah, I would love to have a really, really big one of that. And then I think it's called the Australian bottleneck tree. I will post a picture. I only came across this plant maybe in the last few months, and I just think it's so stinking cool. It's so beautiful. A lot of people have to train it to go to grow the way that you want. Otherwise, I think it just grows straight up. But when you can get it really like sculptural and like get branches to go different ways, it is just so neat. And it's one of those plants like the elephant palm. Why can't I think of what that is? I'm spacing on this plant right here. It's one of those where like the trunk is supposed to be exposed. You're not supposed to get it wet. And so you can just see like the shape of it. And it's almost like a work of art. Like it's like a piece of art in your house. And yeah, you typically will put them in like a more shallow pot. You can top it with like moss and gravel, and I do love that tree. I think my dream house, and eventually, hopefully, by the time I'm like retired, I can own a house like this, is those mid-century modern homes. I think like Eichler homes are pretty notorious for having basically like inside your house, it's typically concrete floors, either pebble or just regular concrete. But then like in the center, you'll have this area of, I guess, just dirt where an actual tree is growing like in the middle of your house and towards the skylight. And so yeah, it's not like in a pot or anything. It's like literally just in the floor of your house. I don't know how that works with like the roots not disrupting the foundation of your home, but like these houses have been around for so long, and structurally they're, I would say, way more sound than a lot of the new houses that are being built. So clearly there's got to be like a method to make sure that it doesn't, you know, mess that up. But I think I'm going to do pon for this thing. I was going to do soil, but I think I'll just do pon. And I might actually just leave it in this same pot. So, let's see. I'm going to pour. Oh my gosh, there is stuff everywhere. So yeah, I think those were the only 3 that I had on my list. Probably in a perfect world where thrips didn't exist, and I had more space, a humongous monstera, multiple of them, because that's just my weakness. It's my kryptonite, are the monsteras. But I feel like in order to grow them well, you need the space and you need to let them climb things. One issue that I have with monsteras growing indoors is that if you don't tame those aerial roots, they will destroy your house. They will destroy your drywall. They will destroy your floors. They will wedge their way into the crevices of places that you do not want them to get into. And that's an issue that I'm having right now with my Sierrana. It's growing like crap because, one, it's not on a pole, and I'm just like kind of neglecting it, but I know it has so much potential, and so I want to do the whole pole thing again, but at the same time I hate doing the pole thing. But let's say if I had like a house where maybe there was like a concrete wall or something. In my mind, when I picture having a house, it's like my dream house, which is something with concrete floors, concrete walls, or brick walls, or something built in the 60s. So in a perfect world, my monstera could just freely, you know, attach to a wall and grow nice and big, and I wouldn't have to worry about it. But otherwise, I think it's just, yeah, it can be kind of difficult to grow well indoors and really let them thrive. God, these roots are drying out already. It's been like 10 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna do, sorry, you can't see anything. I'll show you after. I don't feel like there's like a perfect way to prop these together. I feel like they're just gonna kind of grow wherever they want, but that will do for now. And that's about it. I don't really have other plants I don't think that I would want. I feel like I already have all the ones that I want. And even if there are plants that like I really like and admire, I'm at a point now where I understand how good it is to have a very limited collection that I would not want to bring it home. Okay, this next one's gonna ruffle some feathers. Someone asked, what is your most unpopular personal and plant opinion? So, first unpopular opinion, I'm only going to say one because I'm not trying to have this, you know, the comment section eat me alive. But my one personal opinion, unpopular opinion, is that children should not be forced to show affection to adults, family or not. You know how we all grew up, your parents saying, go hug your aunt, go kiss your uncle, go hug your uncle, go kiss, I don't know, your cousin. Just, they just would force you to like, go give everyone a hug, give everyone a kiss. And I hated that as a kid. I freaking hated it. I did not like doing my rounds, getting spit all over me, just people squeezing you. I hated it. But especially in Filipino culture, if you didn't do that, it was very, very disrespectful. Super disrespectful. So your parents always drove home like, you need to show affection to your elders, your family, or else you're gonna make us look bad. Oh. So that is one thing that I am just firm on, is that if you can't force an adult to like hug and kiss people that you don't want to, why would I force my kid to? Why would I force any kid to? So Archie is gonna grow up to, you know, learn that he can show affection to whoever he wants to on his own terms. I will never, ever once tell him, go hug so-and-so, go kiss so-and-so. It doesn't matter if it's my mom, my dad, my in-law, it doesn't matter. And if people call me soft for that, yeah, sorry, but I believe in boundaries and personal space. And if that's weird to you, I think you're weird. So that is my unpopular personal question. My unpopular plant question, guys, I have not filmed in so long. I feel like I'm so rusty. My unpopular plant opinion is that throwing away cuttings and plants is totally fine and normal and should not be frowned upon. And I just think it's so weird when people die on that hill that like every cutting, every piece of a plant should be treated like a person or a pet, like it needs to be saved or rescued. Weird. Again, very, very strange behavior to me. I just think that's really weird. If my plant is growing out of control and I give it a trim and I throw it away, how is that any different than like cutting grass or like trimming outdoor plants and trimming trees? It's like, it's the same thing. You're containing it, you're making it manageable. And just because something can turn into something else, like a cutting can turn into something else, it doesn't mean that it should. Like, there's always gonna be way more plants to go around than people who need them. Like, trust me guys, I have spent the time to save every cutting, save every plant, try and rehome them, give them away for free, and sometimes people just don't want them. And so why am I gonna spend the time to try and find them homes? Why should I have to spend the energy to do that when it's like, I really don't have to be doing all that? So yeah, that was one thing when I, early on in my YouTube journey, that was one thing that people got on me for all the time. It was like, wow, what a waste. Like, you could have sent that to like a subscriber, you could have sent that to someone. And it's like, why would I do that? Why would I spend the time, the money, the energy to ship out a cutting of my micans? Like, I don't know, for me it feels like entitlement almost. It's not really the passion of saving a plant. It's more so like, oh, you're being greedy with plants that other people would want. But it's like, sorry, it's not on me. It's not on me to make sure that every piece of my plant from now until forever always gets rehomed to someone. That is weird. It's a weird thing to expect of people, and that is a hill I will die on. Like, there is nothing you could say to me that can justify the behavior of like bullying someone into not throwing plants away. Okay, I think we're gonna take a break from the repotting. Although no, actually that's not true, because I think everything in my prop boxes need to be repotted too. But I'm gonna take a break from the shelf and we are gonna pop into the first prop box and kind of see what we've got going. There are probably some like stumps in there that need to just be completely removed from the substrate and just started over. I kind of want to get those ones that are in soil out of soil and just get everything into leca. Don't ask me why. That's my my instinct. That's just what my heart is telling me. I'm gonna guess that at least one thing is dead in here. Oh yeah, or several things maybe. Oh, okay. I think I put, oh man. Okay, this one's not dead. This one is my Carla Pap dress from Sabrina, Ambiance Collective. I really, really like this plant. I don't know if I have a picture of it, but it's just been stagnant for so long, and I think I'm just gonna try and get everything out of what they're currently in, because clearly it's just not working out for them. This Ace Luxe is just looking, this one is like going really soft, but it looks alive still. I do think I'm gonna get all of these ones that are in pon out of here and put into leca and just cleaned up. And this is like one of my favorite things to do. I love cleaning like dirty stumps. A few years ago I was very, very heavy showing, like, you know, doing the peeling with my earwax scraper, and that was like very controversial, so I like stopped doing it on camera, but I never stopped doing it. Anywho, let's do this one first. This is the Carla Pap dress. Again, I will try and throw in a picture if I have one, but I don't think this plant ever got like big enough to take like a nice picture of it, but I just remember that I loved it very much. Is that my, I think that was it. What was I talking about? Oh, unpopular plant opinion. Yeah, that's mine. I mean, I don't know if it's unpopular, but I do know that there's a lot of people with very strong feelings about it. Ugh. This is a very, very gross vessel. Very yucky, very gross. Okay, I guess we can move on to the next question. The next one is a plant question, and it is, do you have any quirky or trailing wish list plants? I do, and these are probably going to, well, some of them are going to surprise you. The first one, this is one that I never honestly thought would be on my wish list. It's a Hoya Polyneura outer variegated. I'm gonna show you why this is on my list. When I went to California in January, I went to go pick up some pest stuff at a nursery down there, Green Acres, and this was there, and I just kept going back and forth. I like grabbed it and was like, man, this is really nice, but I've killed it in the past. Do I really want to bring this home? And I just kept going back and forth. I ended up leaving it, and then the next day I couldn't stop thinking about it, so I went back and I got it. And that is just the regular Hoya Polyneura. And guys, I am just so happy that I brought this home. When I got back from California and I unpacked this, I was like, I'm probably gonna regret bringing this home. I bet you this is gonna be a plant purchase that I regret because it's gonna die really fast, but it's only grown. I do find that it yellows a lot at the base, like anytime new growth comes out, like the older ones die off, which is not, I would say, typical for most Hoya that I've owned in the past. So that aspect of it has made me a little bit nervous, but just the fact that there's new growth on it makes me feel like it's fine. For me, anytime I see new growth, that's just like a sigh of relief. Like I feel like the plant is fine no matter what else it might be doing. So yeah, lots and lots and lots of new growth on this thing. It's way more trailing now. So because I love it so much, I was like, I kind of want, I know that they have the inner variegated and the outer. I think I like the outer variegated a little bit more than the inner. I think because the inner variegated kind of reminds me too much of a, is it a Hoya Carnosa Splash or something? It reminds me of another Hoya that I don't really like too much. Like I don't love the variegation of it. And it looks very similar, but the outer variegated is really, really nice. So yeah, that's another one on my list, and I am hoping to actively acquire that one. I'm hoping to maybe get it in a trade or see if I can get it for a good price, because it'd be so fun to have a little friend for this guy. But yeah, anyway, that is wishlist plant number 1. Wishlist plant number 2 is another Hoya. Oh, camera's dying. Second wish list plant is another Hoya, surprisingly, and it is a Hoya Medusa. I don't know if this one is a honorable mention or if it's actually one that I would want, just because I'm not sure I have the space for it based on how it grows, but it is just so cool. Let me scooch over a little bit. It is just like so neat. I feel like the growth pattern of it is just very much the like down my alley, or like down my alley or up my alley. Does that phrase work both ways? All of these roots are basically dead. I'm gonna cut off most of it and start over. Again, I love the way the leaves, like the leaves kind of remind me of a Polynera, but I like how like structural it is and like how stiff the stems are, and like it just, I don't know, it just looks really cool. I just don't know if I actually have the space for a plant that grows like that. So maybe not, but at least wanted to mention it. And then the third one is, I think it's called the Huperzia carinata. I'm probably making that up. Oh, I got it right. Huperzia carinata. I really like how like tight these chains are. It just reminds me a lot of like the Ripsalis, hello? Really? I have these moments where I'm like, are you fine? Like, do you need an MRI? What is my favorite, one of my favorite Ripsalis? Paradoxa. Gosh. Ripsalis paradoxa minor. I know it's not actually called that, I don't think, but yeah, it reminds me of that in terms of the way it grows, but it's a little bit more compact. I love it. Do I want to bring home another Huperzia? Probably not, because I kill every Huperzia that comes into this house for some reason, both in ambient and in greenhouse conditions or high humidity conditions. So I don't know, maybe not the best idea, but yeah, either way, I really, really like that one. There's honestly a few Huperzia that if I was better with them, I'd bring them all home. I would have as many Huperzia as I do Ripsalis, but that's just not my reality. So I have to be strategic about it, because I know there's going to be Huperzia at this show that I'm going to do in a few weeks, and I'm going to be tempted to take one home, but I have to remember that they all meet their maker eventually. They grow fine for a little bit, but then they all meet their maker. It's always the same song and dance. And so I really have to try hard to not bring a Huperzia home. I just find them to be so cool. And I am jealous of people who are able to keep them alive and happy. This one's dead too. Guys, it's not a promising future for this one, but I really am hoping that I can revive it and bring it back to life, because that would be amazing. I'm gonna scrape and do a little bit of a hydrogen peroxide spray. FYI, it's probably not gonna be the best footage because I think I'm gonna use the front-facing camera so that I can see what I'm doing. One day I will take more of an effort, or make more of an effort to set up a secondary camera, but today is not the day. So yeah, those are the 3 on my wish list. Really, it would be great if I didn't bring home any plants, because I don't need to. I don't want to. I feel like I'm good with the amount of plants that I have right now. But you know, I feel like if something comes up that makes me feel something, I'm not gonna deny myself. I fear that half of this chunk is rotted through, because look, I'm scraping away at this and it's all just coming apart. Now, I have propagated much smaller chunks than this, but it's definitely cutting my chances in half, because now I'm gonna rely on any nodes that are on this side, which I think I see one right here. So if half of this is rotted, it would be fine because I can still propagate it, but I really am gonna have to get out all of that rot so that it doesn't spread. Oh, this is not good. Okay, and now to answer the question of the hour. My new job. I feel like we were here not too long ago where I was telling you about my new job, and now I'm back here again telling you about another new job. Can you guys tell I'm soul searching? But I will say this feels really good. And I was hesitant to say anything because I felt like if it didn't pan out and I never did anything with this, or I never actually made it, I guess you can say, I'd feel like such a failure because like so many people would have heard about it and seen it. And I feel like for things like this, I'd much rather like do it in silence, like just do it on my own. But at the same time, I don't want to spread this message that like you shouldn't share about things that you try and pursue in life only if you succeed at it. I think it would be a little bit hypocritical for me to be like, yeah, follow your dreams and do what makes you happy, but then at the same time it's like, but only share it if you're good at it. So I am going to share it because there has been some development with it, and maybe this will reach someone that I need it to reach and it'll help me, but if not, you know, that's okay. Guys, this chunk is dwindling down. It's pretty much all rotted through. I think there's enough stem here potentially for me to work with, but I think this is definitely going to be one of those plants that I put into perlite and just keep it nice and light. So this is pretty much all that is left. This front facing camera is not bad actually. It's like half of the stem is gone, but I still have this side, and I have propagated this way before. You can propagate that way. I don't think a lot of people know that. I think a lot of people think you just propagate going this way off a stem, but you can actually slice the whole thing down the middle and propagate that way too. So it's essentially just doing that. It's more so just trying to contain the rot that is happening on this stem and hoping that it doesn't spread. Now, when you do something like this, scrape and, you know, really get in there, you are running the risk of, you know, letting bacteria in and letting infection in. But for me, the scraping has only been a good thing. Like, I feel like I've just had so much success with this method that I just would never do anything else different. One of the things that I just highly recommend is doing a nice hydrogen peroxide soak after, just to get anything that's on there off, or, you know, anything you might have let in. And then also, of course, using sterile tools, making sure to sterilize with alcohol before you go in there and get inside of the tissue of the plant. And then I'm going to just scrape this outside very, very lightly. I don't want to destroy any possible auxiliary bud that might be remaining on this plant. I truly don't even know if there is one. Like, this kind of looks like there is one, but it also kind of looks like it's rotted through now. I fear we might be at a loss with this, unfortunately, because this one aerial node that I thought was there is like rotted through. Just kind of sad. Yeah, guys, I think this one's done. This one does not have any viable auxiliary buds, and the whole thing is pretty much gone. So yeah, all of that I just did was for nothing, and now we will never see that plant again. So that's really sad, but it is what it is. Plant number 1. Okay, moving on to the next one that I hope is not a tragedy, although I would not mind not having this plant, this Ace Lux that absolutely hates me. I'm just going to try and yoink it out because it's it's really dirty. Okay, this root system looks way more promising than the other one. Okay, here we go. I'm putting it out in the universe. I mentioned a couple videos back that I would have loved to work in film and TV, being an actress. I'm just kidding. Can you guys imagine me being an actress? I can't remember a single line when I do sponsored videos, guys. It's so bad. I did mention that I wanted to work in film and TV, and that was not just a passing thought in that moment. That has been something that has been consuming me for like the last 10 years. So when I first moved to Vancouver, you know, Vince is giving me tours and like telling me about the city, and he's like, yeah, did you know that like a lot of productions are filmed here in BC? They call Vancouver Hollywood North because it's more affordable for productions to film here in Canada, and like the scenery, the environment, like we pretty much have everything that like a production could need. And especially productions that take place, or movies or films that take place in the wintertime, like it has everything. And I always thought like it would be so cool to work in film and TV, but it was one of those things where it was just so far beyond my reach that it's not even like a serious thought that I had, like, oh, I should try. It was just like, oh man, that would be so cool, but like I could never do that. So I really have tried to push this thought aside for a long time because the thought of it was too scary, and I just kind of felt like it was too late for me. But the more time that has gone on, it's festering, guys. It's like a wound. And every time I drive by a set, you know, where someone's filming, I'm like, that could be me. And then very recently, The Last of Us is filming right now, literally down the street, which is just a sucker punch to the gut. So yeah, I was like, you know what? Screw it. Let's give her a shot. So I was thinking of like the easiest way that I could get my foot in the door. And being a PA was like one of the top things that people recommend. And if you guys don't know what a PA is, it's a production assistant where you're basically just like running around doing errands, handing out call sheets, prepping coffee, you know, showing people where the crew or parking is, and just kind of like doing all of those little like tasks. But the more that I looked into it, the more I realized that I don't think at my ripe age of 36, almost 37, that would be good for me. It's a very like high labor job where you're like on your feet, and there's kind of this stigma in the industry where like PAs should never sit down. Like if you see a PA sitting down, it means that they're like lazy and they're not doing their job. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. So then I started looking into like other departments I could work in, and was like, wait a second, there's like a whole sector for people who just do greens, who do like plant stuff, like plant styling, plant procurement, plant maintenance on sets. And I was thinking, you know, maybe I could do that. But as I looked more into it, the department that really struck me as one that I felt like I could be really good at was the art department. The art department consists of very many smaller departments, and maybe I could throw in like a little flow chart here. So under the art department, there's like the production designer, there's like the set dresser, the set stylist, the props, the buyer. There's a lot of different things that you can do basically under the art director. And I thought that one thing that I could be really good at is styling a set. One of those things is like being the person who actually like you're building things, right? And you guys know I'm pretty handy. It's like building out sets, building out rooms. But another one that's like pre-production or like pre-filming. But then there's also like the set dressers who work on set during active filming, where let's say you're like you're doing a shot, there's like a girl making breakfast in a kitchen, and she's, you know, she's whipping up eggs, she moves a pot over, she answers the phone, and then she goes to answer the door. Let's say you have to redo this take like 5 times. You have to make sure that there's continuity in the shot, so you have to get everything back to what it was when you first started rolling. So there's that kind of like set dresser where you make sure that there's like a good flow. And you know how sometimes in movies and TV you'll see a scene where like the girl's hair is like on her shoulder, and then it like there's a very small cut, and then it goes back to her, and then suddenly it's like on the other shoulder. That's the kind of thing like set dressing is, just not hair and makeup. It's like making sure that it really does look like one take, or it's continuous, and that you didn't have like a break. And yeah, I would be interested in either of them. I think I'm more so interested in the actual like design of the set and installation of the set and putting the set together, rather than being on set during filming and worrying about continuity stuff. But I'm open to pretty much anything, right? Since my young adulthood, I think I've told this story before, where when I was young, I thought that I was going to be a nurse. That's what I wanted to do. When you're in a Filipino family, you're taught you're going to be a nurse, you're going to be a nurse, you're going to be a nurse. It's always like you're going to go into the medical field. And so that's kind of what I always thought I was going to do. I pretty much went my whole life telling people I was going to be a nurse, telling myself that I was going to be a nurse. And then I got to school, I started doing prereqs, and I was like, I don't think I want to do this. Like, I think I took a class, where it was not health science, but it was one of those where like you had to watch a video, there was blood, there was like a birth video, and I just felt so sick. I was like, nope, can't do this. Dropped out of college, didn't tell my parents, pretended I was still going to college because I was still living at home, but I would just go sit in my car, sleep, go to the mall. And yeah, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And at that time, I guess I was kind of like into fashion, but I think every young person at that time, when they're trying to find their image and find their style, they think that they like fashion, or they think that they want to be in the fashion industry. So that's what I pursued. I was already working retail. I think I was working at the Gap starting when I was 16. And I got hired as a sales associate, but I eventually kind of like naturally at a very young age moved into visual merchandising. Like my manager at the time kind of realized that I was like good at styling and putting things together and making things look really nice. And so yeah, it was kind of like non-officially offered me a VM position when I was like 17 working at the Gap. And so I kind of enjoyed doing that. I didn't really know anything else. So when I dropped out of college for nursing, I was like, fashion industry? Maybe. Could do that. And so that's what I did. I really did not know anything else besides that. I hadn't experimented with hobbies, and I don't know, I felt like I was very sheltered, and fashion was the only other thing I knew other than like nursing. So that's what I did. What plant is this? Oh, it's this one. So that's what I did. And I went to fashion school. I applied for more VM positions, and I took out a big, huge loan for a private fashion school, and that fashion school ended up getting shut down for fraud. Everything just felt like a waste. I had been working as a VM for like a couple years, finished my degree, my associate's degree in fashion design and merchandising, and I thought that's what I wanted to do until I hit maybe like year 5 of being a VM and was like, I think I actually hate this. Like, I think I hate the fashion industry. I had started working for San Francisco Fashion Week, whatever that is, in San Francisco. And I just got a real taste of what the industry is like and how brutal it is and how mean people are and how superficial it is, and was like, this is not the world for me. And so all this time up until literally this year, I just kept thinking, wow, what a waste of my young adulthood, being in an industry that didn't serve me at all in real life. And I wasted all this time doing something that I hated. And then when I had this epiphany that like I could work in film and TV, I was looking into like the I'm like, I probably have to go to film school. I've got to start all over. And was like, I'm already qualified to do the things that I want to do in the industry. My years, my degree for one, from a bogus school, but a degree nonetheless. My years working fashion as a VM. And then even just in the last several years, focusing on plants, doing plant YouTube, really learning how to take care of plants. It's like, I'm qualified for greens already, and I'm qualified to work in the art department. And it was this like surreal, when I had this realization, I was like, maybe everything that I have done up until this point that has felt such a waste, that's felt like such a waste and has felt so pointless and had gotten nowhere, like maybe that was all really for this. Maybe, I don't know. But it's like, what are the chances that everything I've done in my life up until this point would qualify me to like actually work in the industry that I want to work in? I think based on my actual skills and my experience, I have no space in here. Based on my skills and experience, I think I have a better foot in the door applying for greens than I do in the art department. I think if I want to work like a real big production, I would probably have to start as a PA in the art department, and then kind of like build and network through there. But either way, I just had all this clarity. Like, I think this is what I want to do. And it's nice because when you work in film and TV, unless you're working for somewhere like Netflix, Amazon Prime, whatever, HBO, you're technically still a freelancer, you're a contractor. So you just apply to productions as they come. So like, let's say I get hired to do a movie. I'm hired until the beginning and end of filming, and then I'm done. And then I can take as long of a break as I want. I can start applying to the next productions. I really still kind of make my own schedule, but like I kind of have control over where I would be working. Now, the only thing with working in film and TV is that it can be very brutal. It can be just long hours over several days. And I've read that a lot of people in the fashion industry or in the film industry don't have a good work-life balance, and it's just like not a great way to live. Another thing is that apparently the film industry is kind of dying here in Vancouver, and a lot of productions are just staying in LA, or they're happening in other parts of Canada where I think it's a little bit cheaper maybe. And then the AI is kind of like taking over. Like there's a huge shift happening in the film industry right now, and I'm kind of coming in at a very weird time. Looking at the database of like the productions actually happening in Vancouver around me, it's like it would still be enough, like if I did get hired on, like I could still make it a career, you know, even if I was just working like Hallmark movies, which I'm hoping to work I would love to work a Hallmark movie, like at least one. A Hallmark movie, Lifetime movie, short film. Even if I never work like a massive production, I think I would still kind of scratch that creative itch I have and then still be able to bring home a paycheck. My nose has not stopped running since I made the soil. So yeah, that is pretty much what I want to do. I'm not 100% decided yet, like the exact position I would want, but with the film industry, it's kind of one of those industries in the beginning where you just sort of have to take what comes to you or take what you can get, and like it's really about who you know. So I have been getting certified. There's like a bunch of certifications that you have to get though to work on set. So I've been doing that over the last few weeks. I'm now fully certified and I can technically apply to like any production I want. But I was like, I know nothing about being on set, guys. There's like a whole culture of being on set. There's etiquette. There's learning how to like use a radio. Like it's not as simple as like, oh yeah, you press the button and you go talk, hey, I need to talk to so-and-so. Like there's a whole thing around like walkie-talkie etiquette, which channels you're supposed to be on, the lingo. Like there's just so much that I don't know. So I didn't want to just jump in and be like, I'm gonna apply to The Last of Us, you know, like that's crazy. So I thought, how can I start small? How can I like just get my foot in the door and get just like a taste of what it's like to work a production? One of the top things on Reddit was like join local Facebook groups. Surprisingly, that's where a lot of hiring happens. That's where a lot of the beginnings of projects happen. And so I joined basically every single film industry Facebook group there was known to mankind locally. And I got two things. So the first one is something that I'm working on right now, and that's why my plant room looks the way that it does. I am designing the set of a play. It's a 5-minute, 1-act play, and it's such a cool play. I don't think I could say a lot about it right now because it hasn't happened yet, but yeah, I basically got hired on to do scenic design, which is crazy because I have no experience designing anything, and so I thought maybe I would get like a assistant position, like helping the scenic designer, but no, she's like, no, you can do it. I was like, oh, okay. So luckily, you know, it's a 1-act play, so none of the sets actually change. It's the same set for the full like 5-10 minutes that the play runs, but it's a really, really cool set, and it's one that I feel like I would know, like that I knew and that I'd be good at doing, and I think that came across in the interview. And so yeah, I for the last few weeks have been designing this play, and I'm learning a lot about what I don't want to do in the industry. I don't want to be a buyer. I don't think I want to be a buyer because you're responsible for like finding the pieces that you need for set and actually picking it up to go get it. Like you don't have like a team of people that's like, this is what I want, go get it, bring it back to set. It's like, oh, you like that? You need to go drive 50 minutes and go get it yourself. So yeah, that's, I don't like doing that, but since it's a very small play, there's no team under me. Originally there was a props person, but I ended up just kind of taking over that role. And so it's really just me. I'm doing the design and the buying. So I'm just running around everywhere, but I'm good at it because I'm just so good at finding deals on Marketplace. I love thrifting, and a lot of this job, like doing set dressing, is being able to be thrifty and being able to know where to go to find certain things. So yeah, I've been running around town, acquiring pieces and props for this play, and it's crazy like how much work has gone into it for being such a small production. I just can't imagine what it's like on a larger scale. So that was the first thing that I kind of got under my belt, and I think the play is in 2 weeks from now, so we're getting really close, and I'm super excited to just actually see it. I think working a play would be super fun. Oh, this is dead. Dang it. This was my Lux Ralph Lynam Fort Sherman. It's not my whole plant. It was just a prop, but yeah, she is deceased. She is no longer with us. Okay, and then I can't say too much about this because it's in pre-production right now, and I have not signed an NDA, but yeah, it's just, yeah, I can't really talk details. But basically, I got brought on to basically be like the art director for a short film happening at the end of this year, which not what I was expecting. So I went into this interview and I was thinking, again, it was going to be like an assistant position, like I was going to be working under the production designer, and I'd probably be like a buyer or just the set dresser. But the more I got into this interview, like the way she was talking, I was like, she's talking like I'm gonna be the production designer. I'm gonna be like the art director for this film. And then she was like, yeah, and if you want, we can have a few people under you if you need help. And I was like, under me? I thought I was on the very under. I thought I was the under. So it's really exciting because the whole crew, they work a different TV show right now, which I'm not gonna say, again, I can't say a lot. It's basically the crew from one show that's currently filming. Their show ends at a certain date, and so they're all, not all, but a small team of them are going to be working this short film. And it's actors that are also in this show, which is crazy. So yeah, it's just crazy. It's just wild. Like, I got home from that interview and I sat in silence the whole car ride home and was like, am I ready for this? Can I do this? And I got really like nervous and doubtful and scared. And then I talked to Vince and he was like, you got this. You can do this in your sleep. Right now it's just learning the technicalities of things. So I've just been nonstop reading, watching YouTube videos about set etiquette, learning how to use a walkie, figuring out how production designers like present, work to the crew professionally. And in a lot of ways I feel like I'm faking it, but I know that I can do it and I'm really excited for it. The only thing is that they are trying to secure funding for it right now. So I'm not getting like my hopes up too much because I don't know if the funding is going to happen. I know that the film is going to happen no matter what the funding looks like, I think. But I don't know if like maybe it's going to be pushed or if it's going to be put on hold for some reason. There's that pessimistic side of me where it's like it's not happening until the end of the year. So I'm like, so much can happen in between then. Or like, what if she finds someone that's way more qualified than me to do the job? Which honestly, if that was the case, I really wouldn't mind, because my ideal is working a smaller production like this under someone who is in the industry that I can just learn from and just absorb their knowledge and just get that under my belt. So that really truly wouldn't be the worst case scenario. And I know either way, even if I'm somehow demoted as just like the set dresser, whatever, and not the actual production designer, it's fine because I'll still be on set. IMDb credits, like I can get that under my belt, and hopefully it can be like a step into working larger productions, or at least feeling confident enough to apply for larger productions, because right now I just feel so apprehensive about it. Like, Yellow Jackets is filming right now down the street, and I know that they use a lot of greens, and not that like I think that I would ever get a call back. Like they think they'd probably take one look at my resume and be like, why would we take this person on? But you never know. Even just getting called for a day call would be cool. But yeah, that's what I'm doing, guys. So in regards to like me doing videography and stuff, I still very much want to do it. I love it. I feel like the more I progress and the more projects I've been getting, the more I've been understanding what my style is and like what I like and what I don't like. And I still want to do it. I don't want to do it full time. I don't want to rely on that as my sole income. I want to be able to choose the projects that I take. I don't want to feel like I need to take every single inquiry that comes in because it's paying my bills. I want to be able to say no to things, and right now I just don't have that luxury. I kind of do have to just take everything that comes because it's money, right? Ace Lux. Oh, it's this one. I'm hoping that, if I can start getting even small jobs, it can supplement the income, and we'll see where that goes. One thing I am nervous about though is the time that you kind of have to dedicate if you're working in film, because like I said, it can be pretty brutal. But it's something that I have to do. I have to at least see it through And again, even if I never make it onto any large production, I just have to try. Even if I fail at it, even if I don't get to actually work any, TV or show, or I don't know, guys. I don't know if that makes any sense. I'm just like I'm in a place right now where I have to try and pursue things for me because it's now or never. I'm only getting older, and now that Archie is in daycare, I can kind of start thinking about what my life is gonna look like in terms of my schedule, what my career is, and I've just felt so freaking lost the last few years. Even when my YouTube was like on track to becoming a lot bigger than it is around COVID, I still felt really lost because I knew that this is not what I wanted to do full time. And the more that I do this, and I don't want to sound ungrateful, but the more that I do this, I think the more I realize that I don't think I really want to be a content creator. I enjoy making these videos because it's my hobby. Like, I actually enjoy doing plant YouTube specifically, but I don't want to be a content creator for a job. I really would want it to just be a hobby, like a side thing that I do. I really have just felt so lost, and I think a lot of it is the comparison thing, where I compare myself to my friends, I compare myself to people from high school, and I'm just like, man, everyone has just got it together. This plant is not looking good. It's again, like the other plant, it's like the more I chip away at it, the more I'm seeing how much is rotted on the inside. This one is just a regular crystallinum, and I do have, this is just sorry, you're over here. I'm like talking to this camera. This is my crystallinum. I do still have this plant. This was just the bottom that I cut off. And so I'm not really sure I want to even try and salvage it, to be honest with you. I'm gonna cut down the middle and see what this looks like. Yeah. She is rotted. This is all soft and brown. I'm not gonna save it. This is where I am right now in the plant hobby. If it's just a nightmare, if it even looks like it's rotting a little bit, it's gonna get thrown out. I just don't have the capacity to be trying to rehab the tiniest little chunk just for it to die. So, okay, basically in that entire bin, 2 have been salvageable. So, not bad, not great, but not bad. This one's looking a little bit more promising in terms of actually seeing some leaves that look happy and healthy. So I would say that a majority of these are going to be sold in the show that I'm doing. This one is, oh yeah, I cut my Herc, my HU Red Crystal, and I have, I think, 3 or 4 offsets from it, or 2. So it's these 2. I think I'm just going to sell it like this. I think it looks fine. It's a little bit algae-ish at the bottom. This one kind of looks like it's got some rotty... I don't really want to sell plants that have like rotted rotted roots in it. So I am going to at least remove them and then get them back in. I just want to get it cleaned up first. Oh, this looks bad. This is in no condition. But it's interesting because it's like actively growing. This is a brand new leaf, but I don't see any like nice new roots. Okay, so now the cat's out of the bag. That is the new career I am actively trying to pursue. Who knows what's gonna happen? I could get into the industry and realize that I hate it. That's a very real thing that could happen, and I'm prepared if that is what it is, but then I'm gonna have to figure out a backup plan. But honestly, I can't really see myself not wanting to do it. I think the only thing that would probably hold me back is if like the work-life balance was really, really bad, because I am a mom. I am wanting to, you know, be there for Archie. I want to see him grow up. I'm not trying to be like out of the house all the time. Yeah, we'll see. I really am just taking it day by day. I am not trying to jump into anything and say like this is it. Like, this is it for me. It's like all or nothing. I am going to give it my all. Don't get me wrong. I am really going to try and give it my all, but I want to make sure that it's not the appeal of working in that industry that gets me. Like, I want to make sure that I actually do enjoy it. So yeah, that's that. This one actually has 2 growth points, but I'm just gonna leave it. Ugh, again, more rottiness happening, but I do see like at least some roots with color. I think these will be okay for the show though, because there's active growth and it's not like dying. It's just a lot of these older roots. These were actually import roots on the original plant. This was in soil. This whole plant was in soil, and then when I chopped it, like you can see like the soil still on the roots. When I chopped it, I just put it into leca, and so I think a lot of this is just roots that like did not transition well. But I was thinking, for as long as it's been in here, I would assume that there would be more new roots. I do think I'm going to scrape this stem a bit because it's pretty dirty, and I think that scraping it would kind of activate new roots to push out on it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to set up the secondary camera though. I think you guys got enough scraping action for today. Or maybe I will. I don't know. Okay, so should we move on to the... Oh, I should probably get my next question first. It is lunchtime and I'm kind of starving, but I sort of want to finish this. What is the worst plant advice you've ever received? The worst plant advice I ever received, and I don't know who, I did not receive it directly, or maybe I did, like through comments, but I definitely think it was like some content creator that I saw online do it. Boiling your Hoyas. Boil the crap out of your Hoyas and then spray it with, or dunk it in alcohol to get rid of flat mites. Don't do that. Yeah, that was not good advice. I will say it got rid of the flat mites, got rid of the mealybugs, oh yeah, it was for mealybugs. It wasn't for flat mites. Boil them for mealybugs. Because I did have a mealybug issue at like the peak of my Hoya ownership, where I owned like 50 or something Hoyas. That feels like a fever dream. And yeah, they said it'll be fine. The Hoyas, they're so hardy, you know, boil them, let them dry, and then dunk them in alcohol. I can't, like, looking back, I could not think of anything worse than that, honestly. It's interesting though, because some of them survived. I managed to maybe keep half of them alive, but over the next couple weeks after I did that, yeah, they just continued to kind of dwindle away and die. A lot of melted leaves. I pissed off a lot of people online. Wowza. I'm surprised I didn't end up on some like planty page. Like, look at this idiot. But you gotta try everything once, because I feel like if someone just said don't do that because it's gonna ruin your plants, I probably would have just tried it anyway. Just in case. You never know. And I was so afraid of mealybugs that I'm like, you know what? Nothing is worse. Nothing is worse than mealybugs. I'd rather have dead plants, dead roots, whatever, start over from a brand new plant than have mealybugs. They're just so disgusting, so foul. I wouldn't say I don't have no regrets. I do have a little bit of regret, but I found out the hard way. I found out for myself, and that's how I learned best. So just at the expense of those poor Hoyas that died. But, you know, I don't know if I really ever truly felt like the Hoya hobby was going to stick. I think it was one of those ADHD fixations. But yeah, don't do that. And then the other worst advice that I got was, don't ever grow your plants without drainage. Some of my most healthy, happy, robustly growing, humongous plants are growing without drainage. And I personally just could never not grow without drainage. I think I said that right. Which was another question someone asked, was like, would you still recommend no drainage after all these years? I'm never ever gonna go back and say, no, I wouldn't do it. I've been doing it for 17 years now. I'm not gonna go back. It's just not gonna happen. My only exception to this has been Anthurium, because I don't freaking understand the genus. They're just so difficult for me. And not that I think that the drainage holes are what's making that some of them grow really well now, because some of them are doing terrible with drainage holes. I just find that it's so much easier to grow without drainage. Maintenance-wise, it's a lot easier. And I just love it. I won't ever be a plant parent and not have no drainage plants. I would say that a majority of my collection is in no drainage at this point, and they all kind of get to a point where I feel like they need to be in no drainage because size-wise, they're so large and I can never find like cover pots that are big enough. So it's much easier to just shove them in, you know, like a glass container. If someone ever tells you don't grow without drainage, that to me makes me feel like you've never tried it yourself and you're just regurgitating something that has been just shoved down your throats. And guys, I know that there is a time and place to do no drainage. I'm not going to own a nursery. Like if I owned my own nursery, I'm not going to put everything in no drainage. Everything's going to be with drainage. It's just easier to care for, it's easier to manage. If I had a greenhouse where I'm watering with a hose, again, not going to do no drainage because I'm watering freely. I need things to run through, but in a very small controlled environment like this, it's just, that's my preference. I feel like I've gotten a lot of bad plant advice over the years, but nothing as bad as those because I feel very passionately. It's the hills that I'm gonna die on. I'm gonna die on a lot of hills in this video. I don't love the idea of giving away all my good leca because these are all going to be for sale, but you know what? I'll be generous, as if I don't have like an entire half bag sitting here still. I mean, truth be told, with the amount of plants that I have now, there's no reason for me to have as much leca as I do, so I really should stop being so stingy. I'm really excited to offload some of these. I have way too many prop bins right now. And I just want to have less prop bins. Okay, this is my Eve Rocherai. It's interesting because this was the largest cutting. I completely took apart my main plant because I don't grow this plant well. And I figured, let me just sell it to people who can give it more care and attention than me. All of the other cuttings that I have, which I'll show you in a bit, have pushed out new growth. This one is just completely at a standstill, and it was the largest cutting. So anyway, it's not dying and it's got a bunch of new roots, so it is ready to go to a new home. I'm just gonna sell it like that. I don't know what the heck this is. I think these are heteros. Oh no, red crystal ports. Some of these look yucky. Some of them look completely soft. Oh, they're not. Oh, okay, this one is springtails crawling all over it like a corpse. This one is hard, that's what she said. All of these are actually quite stiff still, but no new growth points, no new roots. She's sleeping. What else do we have in here? Oh my god. A Burley Marx's Flame, which is waking up. I was kind of hoping that these would wake up by the time the show came around so I could offload them. I mean, I might and just like sell them at a really, really cheap price, but I was hoping to have some leaves. That would have been nice. This is this is my Ploumanii. I don't know if you guys remember the Ploumanii that I got from North Shore Tropicals that I loved so much. This is one of those that are propagated vertically. Ooh, and she's soft. Like, it's half of the stem. And I can feel it rotting. This whole thing is soft. So now that it has like its own little stem, I think I'm just gonna separate it from the rest to make sure that it does not rot my new plant. But I did not think that any growth was gonna come from this. I'm surprised that even this little thing grew, but who knows if it'll like keep going. It's so tiny. It's so cute. But yeah, the trunk that it's connected to is now completely rotted, so I need to free her. Guys, it's so, I can't even get over like how weird it is that I'm just sitting here filming on a Thursday. There's like this part of me inside that's like a little on edge, not on edge, but like typically when I've filmed in an empty house, it's like Vince has taken Archie somewhere, so it's like there's a time, you know, and it's usually like 2-3 hours at most. So I feel like, okay, well, I need to rush through filming because I need to still clean up before he gets here, and I need to try and eat something before he gets here. I was like, dude, he's gonna be gone all day. Like, it's not even noon yet, and yeah, I'm not getting him until like 3:30. Anyway, I do miss him though, guys. Don't get me wrong, I'm not like, yeah, take my kid and run away. I do feel very sad. There's a huge part of me that just feels like he's supposed to be here with me. But I do have to get back to work, unfortunately. I did not marry rich. I don't come from a wealthy family, so mother has to work. She has to work. And of course I can work while he's here, but can I actually? I mean, you guys have seen some videos where I'm like fighting for my life, trying to just film for half an hour. So yeah, this is a much more enjoyable experience. Right now it's in pond. I think I'm gonna do perlite because I need something that's really, really airy, that's not gonna like suffocate it. Oh, I didn't even tell you. Wait, did I tell you why my plant room is a mess? Yeah, my plant room is a mess because I have all of the set pieces for the play in here, because I'm assembling. Oh, there's not like a stage where, you know, or like a space in the theater where I can keep props and work on props. So, because it's a smaller production, so everything has been done at my house, and then I've slowly during rehearsals been bringing things to the rehearsal space. But now that it's like down to the wire in terms of getting all my prop pieces together, it's all here and it's all assembled, and I need to bring it to the rehearsal on Sunday. But it's been super cool because there's a lot of things that you don't see that happen on productions where, like, I don't think I can show it to you. Maybe I can. I'll give you a little peek. Hopefully I don't get in trouble. So for example, like this is all one piece, and you guys can probably tell like I'm designing a restaurant, and it's all in here. It's all stuck in here with like super glue and like resin. And the project that I'm working on right now is trying to make these dishes look dirty. So I've got this like old coffee in this cup, and then I need to try and make all of these look dirty. And then like something like this, everything stuck together. There is resin in here, and the reason for that is I think this is more common with plays rather than actual like film and TV, but there's a short window to get the set off stage for the next play to come in. And so we have to be able to quickly, I think we have like 5 minutes to get off stage. And so everything needs to be in one piece. And then also during the play, it's like if they bump into something, I don't want chopsticks flying all over the place. So everything sort of has to be contained. So basically every set piece that I have they're all one piece essentially. But it's been cool to kind of like experiment and like get creative with trying to figure out how to do that. But yeah, this is probably a more appropriate vessel size. I need like the tiniest little thing, but just drink my coffee instead. This dirty cup, I think I'm just gonna cut it down and just make a really small pot. What is something you wish you were good at? This is a boring answer. I just said painting. I wish I was good at painting. I paint recreationally. I paint as a hobbyist, but I wish I was good at painting. Like, I wish I was really, really good. I wish I had that like image in my mind of like what I wanted to do. Like, sometimes I see paintings. I really do like some styles of abstract. I feel like I gravitate toward that because I feel like, especially doing mixed media stuff would be fun. But I look at it and I'm like, I could have done that. I could have done that. But there's a huge difference between looking at a piece of art and recreating it rather than sitting there and looking at an empty canvas and saying like, this is what I'm gonna do. Huge difference. Like, you know, anyone can copy anything, but to like sit there and think of an original idea is just so difficult. Sometimes I look at an empty canvas and I'm like, I don't know. And then I'll like have this vision in my head and then my hand won't do it. So yeah, I wish I was better at painting because then I'd have way more paintings around the house. And then also another one is, I wish I was good at reading. Not that I don't know how to physically read, like I can read, but I fall asleep. Like I get so bored. Sitting there reading. To me, it's like a little bit too relaxing to the point where like after 3 pages, I just want to go to sleep. So it takes me so long to get through a single book. Like, not that I'm not taking the time to read it, but I just get sleepy. So yeah, I'll read like half a chapter and then I'm like, all right, well, it's time for bed now because I can't keep my eyes open. Or I'll be reading, but not actively taking in the information. So I'll get through like a couple pages and I'm like, I have no idea what just happened. I have no idea what I just read. I'm just reading words, but I'm not comprehending what I'm reading. So then I have to go back. I'm much better at listening to audiobooks, but that feels like cheating. It doesn't really, like, if I listen to like 10 audiobooks a month, I'm not gonna sit there and say like, oh yeah, I read this. Like, I listened to it, sure, but I think actually sitting down, holding it and reading it is so much different than listening to the audiobook. So I have a lot of respect for people who just constantly read and they're just flying through books every month. Yeah, I wish I was like that, but I'm not. My attention span, it won't hold for me, unfortunately. So I have this yucky, nasty looking cup that I'm gonna use. And I honestly think that I have been filming for at least 3 hours now. 11:30, I think I started at 8:30 or 9. Okay, maybe it's only been like 2 hours, but I think I can at least get through the last prop box and then my seedlings that I'm gonna show you, and then might call it from there. I think I'll definitely be able to put together a 2-hour video for you, but 3 was my goal, so let's see. Let's see how far I get. Okay, I have perlite dust, essentially, which is fine. It's actually really good for the purposes I need it for. This is supposed to be size 4 or grade 4 perlite. Guys, this is like, it's dust. I'm telling you, quality for everything. It's like prices have gone up and then quality is just crap. Whatever. I'm using every single piece in this economy. Okay, so this next question is, why does tissue culture get such a bad rep? Wrap? What's the right term? I would like to preface this question first by saying, take everything I'm about to say about this topic with an absolute half grain of salt. I am not the most knowledgeable about tissue culture and how tissue culture works. I've never tissue cultured myself. I've not looked into like what happens in the labs when they tissue culture. I have very surface level knowledge about this topic. So please keep that in mind before angrily commenting. What I'm about to say is probably going to piss some people off, but I think if you're pissed off, maybe this is because you fall under this category. But I would say that a lot of the bad information being spread about tissue culture is perpetuated by the elitist in the community, by people who have been in the hobby for a very, very long time, who have acquired wild collected specimens, who can truly say that they have something that's really rare. And obviously with the increase in tissue culturing, a lot of these plants are just becoming your run-of-the-mill plants that you're finding at Home Depot, which I think if you told somebody 20 years ago that the Spiritus Sancti was going to be sold at Home Depot, they'd probably laugh and be like, yeah, right, yeah, sure. Because I remember when I first got in the hobby, the Spiritus was still like, for a single node, you're looking at like $5,000 to $8,000 just for that. And so to be able to just pick up a little 4-inch pot of it at a store that grows beautifully is kind of crazy. So I think that there's a lot of like bad things that are being spread online about tissue culture because the people who want to have it for the like notoriety, they don't want you to have these plants because they want to be the only ones that have these plants, and that's like kind of icky to me. I just find it so funny and weird. But I also think if this is something that's been like your livelihood for like decades, and then all of a sudden tissue culture comes in and like, takes the rug from under you, pulls the rug. I try and use all of these like phrases that I have no idea what they are, but I try and use them anyway. Pull the rug from under you, something like that. Yeah, I can see how that would feel really jarring and be like really scary and like kind of annoying. But I personally love tissue culture because I'm able to like own a bunch of plants that I normally would not have been able to own. And to me, it just is amazing in terms of accessibility. So yeah, I think that truly is the number one reason why tissue culture gets a bad rep. It's from people up at the top that don't want you to be at the top with them. And I'm not going to apologize for saying that because I know it's true. And I've seen it firsthand, and I've talked a lot about like some of the elitists in the community way back when, and I've never named names, but I feel like a lot of people know who they are, and there's like this certain energy about them that just feels really like, ugh, like I've blocked a lot of them because I just don't want to see them in groups. I don't care what they have to say, and it's just annoying to me. There's a lot of talk about like poor genetics when it comes to tissue culturing, and how it's not just like a few labs that are being like regulated and like really looked at, and we don't know what their processes are. There's a bunch of labs everywhere, labs popping up here and there, and they can just do whatever they want. They can use whatever mother plant they want. They can use whatever specimen they want to mass produce and get things on the market. So yeah, I do think that there are some labs that are tissue culturing kind of like bad mother plants or whatever, and so then you release these bad genetics into the wild. But I don't think that's as common as people are saying it is. Yes, there are bad tissue culture things on the market, the Soderoi, Soderini, whatever, like how they can just grow really terribly. Rhaphidophora tetrasperma can be really gross. There's a bunch of examples of like plants that have popped up through tissue culturing where like you see them as young plants and you're like, that is disgusting. Like, what am I looking at? This, guys, is my black velvet variegated. I gave my, so my mother plant went completely white, and I chopped it up, and I think it's somewhere. I think I have the bottom piece somewhere, but I got 2 corms from it, and I gave the bigger one to Alice, and then this one I kept for myself. So hopefully this one gives me a little bit more green. I'm a little bit nervous because it looks very, very white. So I don't know. We'll see. We will see. What else do I have in here? This is a no tag, no name, but oops. I need to deep clean this office. It's not looking good. So I'm gonna also remove this from soil, get it into leca. Jeez Louise. I think there's also an argument that people make that like tissue culture is not a literal genetic clone. It's presumably a genetic clone, and they will try and show you differences between the wild collected specimens and the ones that are grown from tissue culture. And I don't know, you guys. One of the examples that I saw was from like the Spiritus Sancti. They're like, oh no, the tissue culture ones are way more inferior. They don't have the red backs. They don't grow as narrow. But I have seen some tissue culture Spirituses where I'm like, I would not be able to tell the difference between a wild collected one and that one. So what do I know about it? I don't know. All I know is that the plants that I have in my house is possible because of tissue culturing. And I think that it removes the appeal of wanting to just mass poach a specimen just because, like, you know, it's in demand. It allows you to carry on the lineage and carry on a plant that might otherwise be wiped out or endangered or whatever. So I feel like there are more benefits to tissue culturing than negatives. And there's probably a lot that I'm not like understanding about it too, but I guess on the surface level, that's how I feel. And I certainly would not have the collection that I do if it were not for tissue culturing. Oh, and then another thing is that they say that tissue cultured plants are sterile. So like, if you've ever tried to breed a tissue cultured anthurium and you're wondering why, like, your inflows keep dying or it won't take, like, the pollen won't ever produce seed, like, maybe because it's sterile. I don't know. I really don't know. Just like I don't know what this thing is. But the stem looks really healthy, honestly. It feels like it's probably going to push out some new growth soon. And I might just put it in this thing. We'll see. I need more pollen. Oh, here. Next personal question. Do I have any regrets? Yes, I do. I have a lot of regrets. None that are like so deep that like it keeps me up at night. But there's just like little things where I'm like, man, if I just knew better, you know, I would have done this. But I think if I really think about it, probably one of my biggest regrets is not staying at home longer, like moving out way too early, and not like saving money. I guess it's not a regret, but like I just wish that maybe my parents had helped me with money more. Not giving me money, but like teaching me how to manage money. I feel like our parents should have like opened up investment accounts for us when we were babies so that by the time we were older, like maybe we'd have more of a college fund or something. In general, I wish that I stayed home longer because I moved out when I was like freshly 18. I had $400 to my name. I used that $400 toward rent. I had enough for a down payment, not a down payment, on a deposit on an apartment and for first month's rent. And then my bank account was zeroed out and I got a job at a restaurant and I was just living paycheck to paycheck. So it was hard. It was really, really hard, you guys. And I can't even believe I'm sharing this. I like cry every time I think about it. one of my core memories for the worst reasons is a couple months into living on my own, I told my mom I didn't have enough money for rent. I hadn't picked up enough shifts at the restaurant, and I told her I was short like $300 or something, and she had to pawn her jewelry just to like get me money. And it's just the saddest thing ever. And I always wonder, like, I wish I could buy those things back. Like, I hope it wasn't that important to her, but she took me to a pawn shop and she brought her, I think it was a ring and a bracelet or a necklace or something, and she pawned her jewelry and she gave me money for rent. And it's just, that is my biggest regret in life. I wish I had not asked her for money. I wish she did not have to do that. It's like one of the things I'm most like ashamed of in my life, and I think about it, and it is like, I get like the sweats. I just like shoot up at night and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. On the flip side, if I did not move out when I did, I probably would not have the best friends that I do now. Those were some of the absolute best years of my life, with my girlfriends and moving out, and just, I was a hot mess, you guys. I was the hottest mess you've ever seen, like truly just so bad. But I just made like so many core memories that I will like forever hold dear. And it's just, I think it's one of those times in your life where you think about it when you're on your deathbed and you're like, man, life was so good. Life was so good, even though you were so poor. But it would have been nice to have a little bit more financial stability in my young adult life and not kind of always be on like in the red or yellow, I guess, just the paycheck to paycheck thing. I know we all go through it, but what can you do? My last prop box, I'm gonna try to not, okay, I have kicked this thing way too many times. This little bucket here is gonna go flying, so I'm gonna eliminate that hazard. Okay, last prop box. These are the Eve roasterized. I want to show you. I did not think that so much of this growth was gonna pop off in here, but here we are. These were like literally leafless sticks. I did not think anything was gonna happen, and now we've got little plants in here. I think some of them are dead. Like, I think this is dead. I think this is dead. But most of them are alive, I would say. Like, got little leaves here. This one doesn't look great. This one is like popping off. Like so many like new leaves here. So I'm probably gonna separate these closer to the show and do individual plants instead of selling it all as this one sort of like cluster. It doesn't look amazing, but again, it doesn't look awful. And then who else do I have? Oh, this is the Dark Phoenix, King of Spades that I was telling you was dead, and it's very much not dead. So I know Alice is not watching this, but in the very, very slim chance she's watching, I'm very sorry, Alice. It's very much alive. Alive and well. And here's a mystery, you guys. So I had this box of scalprum. These scalprum are not looking good in here. I had this box of scalprum, or this pot of scalprum, but then I just have this random variegated one. It's not a scalprum. It's a totally different texture. It looks like a Frydek, but I don't have a variegated Frydek. I do have the green on green variegated Frydek, but I've never pulled that like a corm out of it because I just got it. I'm almost wondering, like, when I did have a variegated Frydek, did I just randomly pop a corm in here? I don't remember, but she's in there. And I guess I have another variegated alocasia. But the other scalprum are just not, they're not doing great. The only thing is like, is it worth even selling? I don't know, because you can find these at the at any store here in Vancouver. So it's like, I think I had propagated these so that I can add them back to my pot, but my pot is now popping off. I did repot that one on camera and kind of showed you my method of propagating corms in a pot. It was successful, so I don't know if I really need to add more, but at the same time, I don't want these just sitting in here frying because I think it's getting too much light. But if you guys remember, I cleaned up a bunch of corms, peeled them, and then I just popped them in the top layer of this, my main plant. And I think 2 of the corms died, but the rest have now taken off. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 new corms that have now sprouted. Main plant is kind of bouncing back now. This is the newest leaf on it. Pretty nice and big, and then got another big guy coming here. So hopefully my scalp room is filled in again by the summer. Anywho, I don't really know what to do with this scalp room. I might just stick it in one pot and say take them all for $5. $5 is better than no dollars, so you know. Leca? Pawn? I could do, I don't know, Leca? I'm undecided. Where is my Leca? I have no space in here. I need to clean before the boy comes home. He loves hanging out in this plant room, and it's really cute because he does not mess with the plants at all, but he does like touching my pots. He likes twirling them. He likes, like, he'll just spin them. Anyway, I'm gonna move them all to here. What was I talking about? Okay, my favorite, next question is, what is your favorite substrate for your trailing plants? Honestly, I don't think I have a favorite substrate. I really think that my trailing plants are both like half and half in soil and in pond. Like, I know my Micans is in soil. That one's always been really happy in soil. My Columnia arguta af is in pond. My Ripsalis paradoxa is in soil. My Cissus quadrangularis is in soil. Actually, but then I do have like my really big Ripsalis in pond. So yeah, it's really like just, it's half and half. Like, I don't have a preferred substrate. It's kind of just like whatever I have prepared and on hand is what I do. I don't mind either of them, and yeah, I don't really think I have a favorite. I mean, I think I'll always gravitate toward soil because that's like the substrate that I've used the longest in the time that I've been caring for plants, but I have grown a fondness to pond, so I can't really say I like it more, I don't think. I don't know if these are gonna stay standing. Come on. It's hard because the Leca is so big and then these are just so tiny. This is not going well. Oh my gosh. Ermagersh. Yeah, I don't think I have a favorite. Maybe soil. I really like mixing soil. It's funner than mixing pond. But ever since I've been adding Akadama to pond, I've just like actually been liking it a lot more. It stays wet longer, that's what she said. And it just looks really pretty. I really like the brown color with like the blues of pond. I might have some on hand here to show you, but yeah, sorry if that's not helpful. Oh, there's a lava rock in here. This is one pot of scalp rum. Guys, if you're going to the secret plant show and you want scalp rum, please buy these from me so I don't have to. Honestly, I think if nobody buys it, it's gonna go in the trash. Or maybe at the end of the show, I'll just say free. Ow, my ankle. Oh my gosh, I want McDonald's so bad. Guys, I'm so gross. I crave McDonald's weekly. It's like, it's bad. Did I answer all the questions that I was supposed to? Are you bored? Are you bored? Am I being boring? Next question is, will you be giving Archie a sibling? Hell no, he's not getting a sibling. Sorry about it. I have just been going down a rabbit hole over the last basically 2 years, reading nothing but positive things only from people who are only children saying that they loved it, talking about all the benefits of being an only child, because yes, I have felt guilty about it. But just like the way this question is worded, will you be giving Archie a sibling? Not like, do you want to have another baby? I think it's really sad when people only have a second just so that their first isn't alone. I would only want to bring another life into this world if I truly, from the bottom of my heart, wanted to. But also, I just feel like it's scary bringing a kid into the world right now. It's like insane. Like sometimes I do feel really guilty. Like why did I bring this poor little boy into this world that's so full of just hatred and violence and sadness and struggle? But then I remember there's so many beautiful things about life too. You know, I want him to experience the joys of like eating food that he loves and traveling the world and seeing a beautiful place and just feeling like, wow, I'm so lucky to be here on this planet. That's what I'm holding on to. The things that have happened in my life that are beautiful that I want for him too. So yeah, anyway, he is not getting a sibling, guys. I'm so done with having kids. I knew from a long time ago that I only wanted one. When I got pregnant, I was like, this is gonna be my only one. And then people were like, trust me. When he gets to a certain age, you're gonna be like, oh wow, I love this. I'm so in love with him. I want another one. It's gonna give you baby fever. No, it's done the opposite. I'm like, how could anyone fathom doing this again? Keep in mind, Archie, I would say, is like a pretty chill baby, especially for being a boy. He's always been like a really good baby and great sleeper, great eater, mild-mannered, but it is so hard. It's so hard being a mom. It's so hard adjusting your entire life to being a mom. And I think it's different for people who like just want to be a stay-at-home mom or want to raise children, but that's never been me. I still very much want to accomplish all the things that I have on my like list of things to do before I die, and I don't want to just dedicate my entire existence now to raising children. But if that's you, like you do that. You do that just the same way that I'm sure you would root for me to pursue my, my dreams. Being a full-time mom is not my dream. I do love my child though. I think he is the best thing on this planet, and like life is just so much funner now with him in it, but it's not enough. Not enough for me to want another one. How does the way you love and take care of plants now compare to when you first got into plants? I look at some of my old videos and I'm like, holy smokes, that was your entire life. Like, again, feels very fever dreamish. I would just spend hours and hours and hours. It was like 30 hours a week, sometimes 40 hours a week to plant care. I would not doubt if it was more than that. It was like more than a full-time job, which is insane. But I don't regret it. I don't regret the time and the money that I spent being in that era of my life, because I feel like I had to go through it. I had to experience that to get to where I am now, which is very comfortable and happy with plants. But before, I used to just non-stop plant care around the clock, watering, fertilizing, repotting, moving plants around, installing new areas to fit more plants. It was just like all-consuming. In a way, I felt like plants did not revolve around my life, but my life revolved around my plants. My schedule was dictated by what my plants needed. My vacations were planned on how long my plants could be fine without me. And it got to a point where I just wanted to take some of that control back. And I just wanted, I wanted plants to be like a an addition to my life, not my entire existence, you know? So, these are my F2 hybrids with Alice. Oh my gosh, some of them are looking so skinny. So let me throw in the infographic here. Basically, we both got these seedlings from a friend from the same seed batch, and they got big enough and they were hybridized together, and they're both really great plants. I would say that mine has been more narrow than hers, but hers has had, I would say, more interesting of like a sinus. And so I was really excited for what the children would look like, and definitely did not disappoint. Like, a lot of them are looking really, really skinny and narrow, and maybe if I can remember, I can show you the variegated ones that I got. I think I had 2 that had variegation as young plants, but only one of the variegation has stuck. Yeah, like the leaves do look really narrow now. Like, I don't know how long it's gonna stay like that. Like, it could very much grow out of this trait and like sort of widen out, because you've got some of the seed batch that's like this. So it's a crapshoot right now. I have no idea what these plants are gonna look like, but right now I would say a majority of them are looking very dagger-like, like really, really sharp. So I do want to sell a few of these at the show, but not all of them, because I want to be able to grow some out myself and see what they look like. I might have to go out into the hallway here because I have nowhere to put this stuff. And I think I have 3 of them set aside in a different prop box, but okay. I guess it's just figuring out which ones are gonna go. So I do want to sell some of the big ones. Like, this one looks pretty cool. I just don't know who I want to keep. Like, which ones do I want to keep? What do I want to sell? This one's a little bit lighter in color. It has a little bit of a red tinge to it, but I'm not feeling particular about that one, so I will sell that. I'm gonna sell this one that has a bit of a wider leaf. I think I'd want one that's really narrow. Even if like the wider ones turn out to be really cool, I don't think I want to keep it. I don't know. This one's pretty cool. I might hold on to this one to see how that turns out. And I like how bronzy. This is the only one in the batch that has like this really bronzy emergent leaf. Is it enough to keep it around? I don't know. I have this urge to just hoard them all and see what they look like. I'm not feeling particularly attached to any of these, honestly, that are in this box, but I don't want to bring a plant like this to the show and then also have like a little tiny one. So I think I'm gonna only bring like medium-ish sized ones to the show, and then I'll let the smaller ones grow out a bit. Like, this one's fine. I'll leave this one, or I'll sell that one. This one. It probably could use new soil, but for the price that I'm gonna sell it at, it's just not gonna be worth the time to repot them. So they will have to do that themselves. I think all of these ones are a bit on the smaller side. Let me show you the ones that I have set aside, and I think I should have a max of 4 or 5. Like, there's no reason that I need to have more than that. I just got a glimpse. Like, does my neck look really long? I don't know. I feel like I look like a giraffe right now. I see more variegation. I thought the variegation went away, but she is here. So this one I almost sold in the last restock, and then when I took a picture of it, I zoomed in because I thought I saw like thrips damage. I was like, but it turned out to be variegation. So it's very, 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 very slight right now. And it's so interesting because I don't even know if you're gonna be able to see it, honestly. So here's like the oldest leaf. Do you guys see in this little corner right here? That's what I thought. I thought it was like damage, but I was like, I actually think that's variegation. And then the next leaf, I think it was just in the center. You can't even see it now. It's like almost faded completely away, but like in the sinus was a little bit of variegation like up here, but now that it's completely hardened, you can't really see it. But here is the new leaf. And you can see right there, hello, right there, there is some variegation. So hopefully it continues to come out even more. That would be awesome. Whoa, no, crushed that. And then there is this one that also had, I think this one had variegation, or maybe I just liked, oh no, this one had sort of like wavy edges. I saw it more in this leaf here, like just very slight, and I can kind of see it's maybe gonna continue like with the kind of weird frilly edges, but I thought it was worth hanging on to just in case. And then the last one is this one, which, oh gosh, this one looks really spotty now, but this one was the most variegated out of all of them. It's hard to decipher which one is damage versus variegation, but yeah, this one had the most out of all of it, and I'm hoping that this one looks like it's going to be a little bit more like speckly variegation, whereas this one is like a bit more sectoral, I think. I'm not so hard pressed on having a variegated anthurium, honestly. It's not one of those things that is like I have to have it, but I think it's cool when you get one that was grown from your own seed batch, and that's really the only reason I would really want it. So, okay, I have options now. I have these. Obviously, I'm going to keep the ones that are variegated, and then this one that kind of has the wavy edge, but I need to choose between these three, like which ones I'm going to keep. Do I keep the one with the bronzy leaf? Or do I keep this one that is like, kind of has like port vibes, and then this one is just like pretty like narrow and has a little bit of like red in the venation? Or do I keep none of them and just keep the three original ones? I'm a little bit more, I don't know why I'm drawn to this one. It's not the most narrow of them all, and it doesn't have the nicest emergent leaf, but for some reason it's calling to me. So is this one with the bronze leaf, but maybe not. Maybe I don't keep it. You don't always have to keep the best ones out of every batch. I think I'm gonna sell this one. So if you are at the show and you want a cool little guy, I'm gonna be selling that. So I only have 7. I wanted 8. Okay, I'm gonna sell this one too, because why not? Will I regret it? Maybe, who cares? I think this is another Fort Sherman Ralphinum that is dying. Man, this Fort Sherman Ralphinum Lux is so hard to propagate. So I had someone email me, or someone messaged me on YouTube, took a screenshot of my Lux Ralphinum Fort Sherman, and was like, do you have any cuttings of this? Like, I would love to have one. So I was like, email me, I'll let you know whenever I cut it. I cut it like 8 or 9 months ago, and then it finally pushed out a leaf, and so I let her know. I'm like, hey, it's ready. Sent it to her, and of course, of all of the packages in that, restock, she's the one that got stuck. It was like some form that we had never heard about. So yeah, it got stuck for like a week and a half or 2 weeks, and it just, yeah, looked really bad when she got it, but it looked salvageable, luckily. It's just, the roots were definitely, I think, goners, but the stem looked really nice. This one is a Bessie AF, no ID. This one's pretty fun. I am not good at growing it in ambient, which is why it's in here. And I'm too scared to take it out. I feel like anything with Bess, I'm like, not the greatest. And then I've got this KOS Red Crystal from Alice, which was grown by Dania. But this one freaking hates me too. And it pushed out like new growth, and then it died. I'm like, I don't know what to do with you. Anyway, I'm gonna just put all of these in here because I don't really want these growing in 100% humidity anymore. This box is probably around like 70. I keep some of these little air holes open. I love this thing. If you can find one of these greenhouses, yeah, I can't recommend them enough. I think they're great. It's nice that you can like really control how much is coming in and out, and then it's got this thing where, you know, you can have it be taller or shorter, and I just like how much it can adjust to what you need. So definitely a lot of casualties today in terms of things in prop boxes, but the silver lining is that when the plants die, that means that I have more space and less plants to take care of. It's kind of a messed up thinking, but I'm just like needing to really downsize the amount of props I have because it's just too much. I originally was going to try and get rid of this little shelf thing in the corner so that I can just have space back and put my cleaning products back there, like my vacuum and my Tineco. But I just don't think that I don't think I'm gonna do that, because in the event that I do hybridize again, which I doubt I am, I feel like there's very little plants that I have in my collection right now that would make for a hybrid that's like cool enough to sell. It's hard to sell stuff in the market right now, or on the market right now. But it's nice to have the option of having somewhere to grow them. I have been propagating my Calumnia arguta af, and I have tried this leaf propagating thing, and it's been like 100% successful, guys. Like, I have gotten the leaves to propagate, but getting growth from it is what I'm struggling with. Yeah, I've read that you can propagate these via leaf, but like, yeah, I have roots, but no new growth coming from it. So when does that happen? When does that happen? Where does it push out from? I don't know. I'm just kind of keeping them around to see what happens, but I'm basically trying to have like a backup plant. I've already propagated some. I just have this fear that like something's gonna go wrong with my main plant, and I want to make sure that I have enough to have as a backup, basically. This last one is a Tazula Ace Pap from my friend Dania, and this one is a really cool one when it doesn't look like this, but it's just not like life in this substrate, and I could tell it's been in here for a long time because it's still in party pond. Some of you guys know what I'm talking about. And I really don't have many plants anymore in party pond because everything's been like moved out and like up potted and stuff. So this is like the first time I'm actually seeing party pond in a long time. Okay. I'm gonna have a really great time picking out all of this leca. I'm being sarcastic if you can't tell. Okay, this is the last, honestly, the last question, and it's a personal question. It's kind of funny that someone asked this. Do you stay friends with your exes? I was literally talking about this earlier. Oh God. I say hell yeah, stay friends with your exes. I don't have the best track record for exes, so no, I don't stay friends with all my exes, but a lot of my exes are really freaking cool. And I love them, and I really deeply care for them. And I don't think that anyone that came into your life romantically that didn't work out that way, like, I don't think that means that you just have to like never be in each other's lives again, especially like if you were so intertwined at one point. I would say that for the most part, I'm friends with almost all my exes. There's just maybe like a few, like, there's probably like 3 of them that I'm not friends with. And when I say friends, I don't mean like we're texting each other and like buddy. I mean like we're still like just cordial and we're friends on social media and stuff. It's just my first boyfriend, like my first real boyfriend from high school, not friends with him because I can't stand him, and just looking at pictures of him, like, ugh, gross. He's just nasty. I had a like 2-year-long situationship with this guy that like messed me up so bad mentally, and there was no reason for me to be friends with him. But the best thing I got out of that was his ex-girlfriend. So I think I've told this story before. I was in love with this guy. Like, guys, I would have risked it all for this guy. Like, I was obsessed with him, and I definitely liked him more than he liked me. And he like never wanted to be serious with me, never wanted to like, he always made sure that we were just like friends. You know what I mean? We weren't allowed to hold hands. We weren't allowed to cuddle because he said only like couples did that. He was one of those guys, like very manipulative, making me feel like we were something that we weren't, when really it's like the way that he would act would make me feel otherwise. He like breaks up with me. I'm on the way. I just drove 6 hours to him on Christmas Eve through traffic. We're on the phone. He breaks up with me like 2 exits before I get to his house. I turn around, go to Taco Bell, start sobbing and eating my weight in tacos. And then a couple weeks later, he's like, hey, do you want to come on a family trip with me to Tahoe and like meet all my cousins? I was like, sir, what? Now? I haven't talked to you in like weeks, and now you want me to go on a family trip with you? Went on a family trip with him. Still could not act like a couple because only couples did that. Just, guys, it was like the craziest mind games ever, but like so exciting, right? So, you know, like when you're in that phase of like playing games, oh, I hated it so much, but part of me like loved it. So anywho, not friends with him for a lot of reasons. I also think because we saw each other a couple years after we had stopped dating, and I was friends with all of his friends. And so I was living in San Francisco. They were going to be in San Francisco. They're like, hey, come out with us. Nobody told me he was going to be there. He shows up to the hotel. I'm like, perfect. Good. But of course, he's just being super flirty that night and like is trying to talk to me any chance he gets. And so it's just one of those things where I was like, dude, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Like, I'm here because your friends invited me and I like your friends way more than I like you. So yeah, that was what that was. Not friends with him. And then I think there's one other person I'm not friends with. Oh yeah, my most recent ex. He's very intertwined with my family. He's like really good friends with my cousins, because that's how I met him, through my cousins. And so yeah, he comes around often. Not often, but like, you know, we've had to see each other at family parties and stuff, and always great to see ya. Nice to see ya, buddy. But I would say in general, I am Instagram friends, Facebook friends with pretty much all of the rest of my exes. I think they're all great guys. We just didn't hit it off romantically, or just were not right for each other. But some of them are just, I adore them. Like, I absolutely adore them. And I just so happy to see them happy. I follow them mostly just to see how amazing they are in their lives and like how well they've done for themselves, and they all have families, and yeah, it's just really nice to see. So I think it's circumstantial for sure. I'm not gonna say, yeah, be friends with all your exes, but I think the ones where like you still have that mutual respect for each other, even if maybe you didn't end on the best terms, like I would still want to be friends with my exes. And my husband doesn't think it's weird. He knows that I'm friends with my exes. He's friends with his exes. We're very good friends with like one of his main ex-girlfriends. Like, she comes around to like our parties, and like I love her. She's amazing. So there's no like weirdness in that department with me and Vince. I did so much today, y'all. I'm feeling accomplished as heck, but this plant room needs help. It needs help. It really does. It's too much. And, you know, I've thought about like, oh, now that Archie's in daycare full time, I can start doing more short form content. I can start doing more short form content like TikTok videos, YouTube shorts, whatever. But again, I just don't think I want to be a content creator. I like doing this kind of thing occasionally, but I don't necessarily feel like I need to like put my life on display for the world anymore. So that's that. I need to add some water. Today has been fun. I feel like you learned some things about me if you care. Hopefully you got some plant chores done or house stuff done while you watched this or listened to this. I'm glad I was able to finally get like a long video out on the channel. It has been months. I don't even remember the last time I would have posted a super long video on this channel. Honestly, it's just been so long. Anyway, thank you for the 200 people that watched my last video. I already know that like the non-plant content doesn't do well on this channel, but again, I am just trying to sprinkle in a little bit of my non-plant things on this channel because having a second channel is just too much work. I can't manage it. So yeah, I'm gonna be posting non-plant things here and there. I know some people enjoy it and watch it, and right now I'm not. Again, this is not my full-time thing anymore, so I'm really not trying to only do things just for the views. I just want to make content that I like and that's fun for me. So thank you so much if you watched that. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for all the love. I appreciate you so much. I hope you have an amazing weekend, and I will see you in the next one.